It's Mosab and Dr. Phil.
Between 1.6 billion Muslims and a cow.
Oh, hello everyone. What's up? How you doing? David, what's up? How are you doing?
Oh, hi, AP.
Oh, good. I'm good too. Good. Thank you. How are you doing?
And you know who else says hi?
Who? Wow.
The goat.
That's awesome. So, I'm a little bit sick, as you can probably hear. So, but today we want to come together and talk about some good stuff. David,
That's what we do. We build bridges. We bring people together.
we do indeed. That's what we do. That's what they do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Yes. So Shush says Ape. Yes, I kind of changed my name to Ape here, and it has been like that ever since. Maybe it is time to change it back. What do you think? Maybe it's time to change it back to Apostate Prophet. All right. So now that is solved. So today we want to watch what happened over the last few days. I think Mosab Hassan Yousef went on Dr. Phil. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the thumbnail. I haven't seen it, but that's what happened.
That is what happened. And I just heard very briefly he went there and he talked about Islam. He talked about how Islam is bad, which I thought, whoa.
Wait. So they weren't just talking about like his background and stuff? Because I mean, if he was on Dr. Phil, I'd expect it to be like, so tell us, Mosab, what's your relationship like with your father? I sentence him to death.
It is for the children.
We got some work cut out for us in this episode, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, he did what.
And you should be afraid of me, Dr. Phil, if I sentence my own father to death. Watch what you ask me.
Yeah. He went to Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil asked him about all kinds of different things about Mossad. Not about Mossad. About Mosab, which is he himself. Then
Tell
about
us
Hamas.
Mossad. What are you guys planning?
About the current war and so on. And the thing is, so the background very briefly is that Mosab Hassan Yousef is the son of a Hamas co-founder and still member in the leadership. And Mosab Hassan Yousef himself was also very briefly part of Hamas operations. And he was at some point taken in by the Shin Bet, which is the Israeli security agency, and was then recruited as a spy where he worked for Israel inside Hamas and helped save a lot of people's lives. He has a very good book on that, which is called Son of Hamas. Wait, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. I forgot. I can't think very well. Yeah, it's called Son of Hamas. I would always recommend reading that to get a deeper look into his life and all that. It's very, very, very moving. And he's still an activist. He's very much active against Hamas, against the whole Palestinian organizations, and even against Islam. He is very outspoken on that. He even said during a speech where he said he was asked not to say this, but let's admit that Islam is the problem.
Wow.
He doesn't shy away from just saying that. So and as far as I gather,
he doesn't seem to shy away from much there, AP.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
He doesn't seem like it doesn't come across as the shying away type.
Well, we will see. We will see what he does once he is confronted with Dr. Phil.
You may think that I'm going to shy away, but I won't. If I sentence my own father to death, then I will not be shy.
I
Muhammad is
believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Muhammad is not shy. Well, he is, but Allah is not, and neither am I.
Alhamdulillah, beautifully said. So here we have this dude. What do you think about Dr. Phil? I heard that you're a very great fan of Dr. Phil.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, he's fine. I'm trying to think of what I've seen. I saw the Cash Me Outside clip. I must have seen some other Dr. Phil clips because I have an idea of him talking in my mind. But I think he took off like I think with Oprah or something, like way back in the day. She started bringing him on as a psychiatrist or something. And then
Yeah, I saw that the general public has a very, very bad opinion of Dr. Phil, apparently.
oh, really? What did he do?
I was recently checking how his show is rated among viewers, and it's rated as very low quality and very bad, and totally nothing to
Well,
do
what-
with helping people and stuff like that. And I thought this is a big slander. It looks like the guy's obviously doing great work, so we have to look into
Well,
this.
this is really a really good way to introduce your clip by downplaying the significance of the person we're about to watch.
So, related clip.
And all these hoes laughing like so funny.
She's talking about the audience, that they're laughing at her.
Did you say the hoes are laughing?
Yeah,
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
yeah.
I wonder why they're clapping.
Yes, we are hoes.
When was this? 7 years ago? Wow.
No, it's older than that, man. Someone might have posted it, but that was old.
No, it was probably. Pretty sure it was 7 years ago. It was.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that? Catch me outside. How about
Anyway, that girl is rich now. She's a rapper now, and a multimillionaire, and all that. So people were
she won.
Yeah,
All those
were
people
laughing at her,
clapping.
and now she's laughing at everyone else. So
Yeah,
funny.
that's what I mean. When I saw that Cash Me Outside stuff, I was like, here's a girl who was born to be a star. And she was.
I think she has like I don't know, she has a net worth of reportedly over $20 million or so. So
Must be nice.
things really went her way. She really used that spotlight. Anyway.
Smart.
Yeah.
And when I ask you if what happened on October 7th is something you condemn,
What in the world is
Is he pulling a Pierce Morgan? This might be one of the things where they play a little short clip at the beginning before the rest of the video.
yeah.
Is he pulling a Pierce Morgan here? Hey, I'm gonna argue with you I'm gonna spend the first 20 minutes trying to get you to say that Hamas is wrong.
I hope so. But I don't know why she has her head like this. I don't know why she has a fake attempt at covering her head with this barely functional scarf thing while wearing the Palestinian keffiyeh. It's like, I don't know what she's doing. Looks very weird. Shannon B said, how? I guess you're referring to her being a multimillionaire. Rap music, and then she actually started doing online adult content, and yeah.
and you say, well, you have to look at that by looking at hundreds of years of conflict. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's either right or it's wrong, and it was wrong, and I don't need 100 years.
Why is this? I don't know what this is, but if this is actually a preview or not. Okay, it looks like it is a preview.
Yeah,
That's
it's a preview, man.
okay. But it's a very weird preview because, like, I have no idea what's going on.
No, it shows that Dr. Phil's gonna be like Pierce Morgan.
Oh yeah. Okay.
years
Dr.
of
Pierce.
conflict to know it was
The fact of
wrong. When somebody comes over a fence and goes into someone's house and burns their infant in its crib, I don't give a damn why they did
So-
it. It's wrong.
Why they did it? This
Who's
is
this
true,
lady in the
Blondina.
pink?
Who?
There's some lady in the pink beside Mosab here.
I don't
Is she
know.
going to be part of this debate? Was this
I
a
hope
2-on-2 debate? I'm just
don't know
saying,
what's
if it's a debate, I don't know who this chick is.
Hey, what is Yasmin Mohammed doing here?
Ooh. Hey, that's crazy if he's like playing clips of Yasmin Mohammed.
That's interesting. Yeah, Blondina.
Wait a minute. Maybe everyone's coming around to our side, AP.
They are. The minute she turned 18, yeah, she actually created an account, and on the first day surpassed $1 million in subscriber money, which is just which exposes two things. One, how somebody who has the spotlight at some point can really exploit that stuff, but it also exposes something else, which is that a lot of people were waiting for her to turn 18.
Yeah, and it exposed something else too. Just so you know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. What?
Yeah, isn't it weird? It's like if you actually understood how this works, like if you're looking at this going, okay, go on some talk show, say something completely idiotic, get everyone laughing at you thinking you're a total moron, and then wait a couple years and get naked. And all those people who are laughing are going to want to see you doing whatever you're doing, and you become a millionaire. It's like,
Yeah.
gosh, man, it's quite the career path.
Yeah,
But I mean, think about it. It's like it's the same. It's pretty much the same sort of trajectory as someone like a Sneeko or something, right? You find out what will get you popular at some point, and just roll with it. With ladies, it's going to be more on the naked end of the spectrum, and with guys, it's going to be a guy who is becoming the guy that all these girls want to get naked with or something.
Jeez.
That's how you do it. What?
I'm looking at an article right now. It says she previously said she had earned $1 million in her first
he's looking at an article, ladies and gentlemen.
here, man. It says
Oh yes, I'm researching her career in an article.
she previously said she had earned $1 million in her first 6 hours on the platform. In
Hold on,
2022,
her name is Bad Baby. What is it?
in 2022, she
This is
claimed
like
she
an
was
Arabic
worth
spelling.
$50 million
Oh, my
thanks to
goodness.
OnlyFans. She charges $23.99 for access to her images. That's it. In the screenshot posted on Thursday, the earnings show she earned $18 million in her first month on the platform
Oh
in
my
April 20.
goodness.
Wow, man.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? You make a complete fool of yourself on Dr. Phil. You can get naked then for 1 month and retire the moment you turn 18. But I mean, think about that. If she had tried the getting naked, whatever, without being in the spotlight on Dr. Phil, without going viral in those clips for acting like a complete idiot, she wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have made it. She definitely wouldn't have made millions. But because she went viral, then a bunch of people want to see her naked.
And did you know that she is actually that baby is Palestinian, by the way? Just kidding. Anyway, so completely irrelevant to the topic.
Hey,
What?
how epic would it have been if she actually were, and Dr. Phil had her on here against Mosab? Huh? That would have. I mean, Dr. Phil, if you're watching this, we're YouTubers. We know how YouTube works. You get Bad Baby on here to debate Mosab. Oh my goodness. And he's like, I chose the couch. She goes, catch me outside. I chose the couch. Catch me outside. Oh man.
Anyway, enough of the success stories. Let's continue with Mosab Hassan Yousef.
It's wrong. What's up? It's good to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
You grew up being indoctrinated by Hamas, and your father was one of the co-founders.
That sounds kind of insulting, doesn't it? Like, you grew up brainwashed and stupid.
What did they teach you from an early age about Jews?
There's lots of hatred in that culture against the Jewish people. It's not a secret. In fact, the Muslim belief system has a fundamental.
He goes right into it. He goes right into it. You're saying he was asked not to go after Islam, and it's the second thing he says after like 10 seconds.
I love this guy. This is amazing. He I mean, if I was there in his position, I would probably think twice about that. But he doesn't. He just jumps right into it. This is amazing, man. Actually, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know.
Because Muhammad was child molesting, murdering, rapist, Dr. Phil. I can prove it. I brought texts. I have receipts.
Let's see what the question was again, and then how
From an early age about Jews. Father was one of the co-founders. What did they teach you from an early age about Jews?
There's lots of hatred in that culture against the Jewish people. It's not a secret. In fact, the Muslim belief system has a fundamental problem with the Jewish people.
Yes.
And their solution is what?
First of all, we need to understand what is the problem. Because
the Muslim belief system is the problem.
What is the problem?
a personal experience with the Jewish people, all I saw, the most amazing, most productive, and most successful nation in the world.
Oh, man.
Because of the Jews.
He says that a lot. He expresses this a lot, his love and admiration for the Jewish people and the people of Israel. And I mean, I heard him say that so many times. He basically like turns around on the Palestinian people and says, how dare you even attack or suggest that these people are the problem? They're not. How dare you? It's very, very interesting.
That don't harm anyone else. So why the Muslim people hate the Jewish people? They don't have a reason except the ideological reason.
Alhamdulillah. That's it. That's it. There is no reason. There really is no other reason. Nothing in the trajectory would have changed the fact that Muslims, that Islam simply has this hate for Jews, and that it is fundamental to Islam. Nothing that happens in the 19th century or 20th century or 21st century or anything like that would have brought that forth out of nothing. It was always there. It may have gotten worse or better at different points in time, but it was always there. This hatred for Jews existed since Muhammad in Islamic culture. It's directly in the texts. That's it.
So you're saying that the real reason for all the hostility towards Jews goes back to the Quran and Muhammad's claims and commands in the Hadith. What we can say is that the hatred and animosity was always there. It was built into Islam. It's built into the system. But that when Jews when Jews are a tiny minority of a population and they're clearly not in charge of anything, and they're clearly like second-class citizens in your Muslim country, Muslims can put up with them for the most part. Yeah. But if those Jews ever become strong and powerful, then Muslims absolutely lose their minds, because it's like a giant slap in the face to Allah and to Islam.
Absolutely. I recently learned I recently got introduced to a very, very good thought of putting that together by Dr. Ennett Wolf, with whom I had an interview here, which is public on my channel. It's called "The Truth About the Israel-Palestine Conflict," and she put it very well, which is that there was always a hatred for Jews. Jews always had a bad role in the Muslim world, but as long as the Jews were just subjects and a minority, it went the way that Muslims would tell the Jews how to behave and what to do and stay in line. But now that the Jews are suddenly independent and have power, this is unacceptable to them, because this is against the very nature of Jews, who are supposed to be subjects until they are eventually eradicated. This is how Muslims have seen the Jews in history.
Yeah, and as far as the connection to Islam, I mean, if you're thinking about the trajectory,
Yeah.
when Muhammad prophesies that the end will come when you kill the Jews and they're hiding behind rocks and trees and so on, it's the Jews are going to be on the defensive. They're not going to be strong. They're going to be weak. They're going to be running and hiding. You're going to be the aggressors. You're going to be running around hunting them. They're going to be the ones hiding them. So when Jews are this weak group in society, where as soon as we start thinking the end's going to come, then we can go and take out these Jews like we're supposed to, then it all you can believe that it's going to happen. When you try everything you can from every single direction, and Muslim nations gather together and fight over and over again, and college students around the world whine like babies and so on, and it just doesn't work at all, and the Jews can still go in there, hunt down your terrorists. It's your terrorists who are hiding behind rocks and trees and in tunnels and hiding behind babies and women. It's like you get the impression like this is not the way things are supposed. This is the opposite. This is not supposed to be like this. They're the ones who are supposed to be hiding, running and hiding, and yet we're the ones running and hiding, and then we have nothing we can do about it except cry around the entire world. It's like, again, it's like a, I don't know, it's just like it's a big slap in the face to Islam. It's just like, hey, this is not what your prophet said was going to happen, and yet here it is.
You're hiding, boy. You're hiding.
So here is the hadith. It goes, "The hour will not come unless the Muslims will fight the Jews and kill them until the Jews hide behind a stone or a tree. And a stone or a tree would say, 'Muslim, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him.' But the tree Gargat would not say, for it is the tree of the Jews." This is what Muhammad said, allegedly. A long time ago, long before Zionism, long before Israel, the modern state of Israel was established, long before this conflict. This is the nature of the conflict.
By the way, to the Muslims who are watching, that's what your prophet said is going to happen. So there's this entire conflict going on. You got this fighting with Israel and Hamas and so on, and you guys are trying to lots of people are trying to rev this up to bring about the end times and so on. But I mean, Muslims, you actually believe that's going to happen like that? Like so one, the tide is going to turn, and the 2 billion of you are finally going to be able to do something about these what is it, like 8 million people in Israel, and you're going to go after them. And then they are going to run and hide behind rocks and trees. But some of them are going to hide behind one particular tree who's their ally. And that's the tree that's not going to snitch on them. Other trees, oak tree, olive tree, those are going to snitch on the Jews. Hey, the mouth is going to open. Hey, come get this Jew. Come get him. Come kill him. He's behind me. Ha, 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 ha. They're just going to, no, this tree snitched on us. And they're going to run. But they're going to hide behind this particular tree, the Garkid tree. And that one's going to be like, don't worry, I got your back. But, I mean, wouldn't Muslims like, no, hey, this Garkid tree, oh, no, there's the Garkid tree over there. Can't trust that guy. He's no snitch. So let's just go behind those trees because that's the only place they can hide. You guys actually like believe this? Your prophet said it. Keep in mind, this is the same prophet who, said, "Hey, worship Allah and don't believe these other things. The same guy says that this is going to happen. Hey, why are you muted, man? Why are you talking and yet muted? There's
I don't
amateur
know.
hour.
Nobody likes snitches except
Snitches get
Muslims.
stitches.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
hey,
that's
isn't it weird though? Isn't it weird though? No one likes snitches, so that fits in. So the Garka tree is good, but prison rules, it's no snitches and no child molesters. And so Muhammad would be ruled out, but the Garka tree would be good in prison.
Yeah.
Garka tree would be safe. Okay, we're good.
yeah.
And that is in some Islamic texts. They say that Muhammad had a problem with the Jews, and Muhammad is their prophet, so they follow his footsteps. But in reality, Muhammad did not write a word that says anything against the Jewish people. You can say hatred as one motive, but it's not only hatred. It's human delusion.
What is with those chairs, man?
But it's not
That's very weird.
only hatred. It's human delusion. It's envy. It's anger.
But there's a difference between hating someone and deciding that you need to wipe them off the face of the earth. And when I look at what happened on October 7th, that's more than just hating. What's that about?
I'm sure he will give a good response to that, but I think that there is a very interesting point to make about hating versus wanting to exterminate the other side and doing terrible things to the other side. That is called dehumanizing, which is that this is why dehumanizing is considered such a terrible offense. In an Islamic environment, in an Islamic upbringing, under Islamic education, you don't just learn to hate Jews and to view them as an enemy. You also learn to dehumanize them and think insane things about them. That they are basically, I don't know, hypnotizing the world, and that they are this eternal enemy, that some of them were turned into rats and monkeys, and some of them are descendants of those, and things like that. It's just, it is insane. There is no limit to how much Jews are dehumanized in Islamic culture. And once you do that, once you detach the human aspect from the enemy that you are taught to hate, it gets easier, I guess, to be so hostile toward them that you would commit atrocities against them.
There is lots of violence. And what Hamas did on October 7 was an attempt for ethnic cleansing. In fact, they succeeded in ethnically cleanse close to 20 Jewish communities. And this shows you their intention. They want to dominate. This was a holy mission. It's a holy war. In Islam, to kill for Allah is a way of worship.
By the way, this clip here, the one where they are dragging a body,
Intention. They want to dominate. This was a holy.
this here, you can see in this clip here. I saw the original clip several times. So they shoot and kill Israeli civilians, and these two guys come at some point. They loot the bodies, and these two guys then pick up the dead body of an Israeli civilian and put the body in their vehicle to take the body with them. Plus, one of these people is identified as an UNRWA worker, as the United Nations humanitarian Palestinian organization. Yeah. But
By the way,
at least one of them, maybe both of them, but at least one of them is identified as an UNRWA worker who are supposedly humanitarian organization that help the Palestinian people, but they participated in the terrorist attacks where they abduct a dead body and take the dead body together with them to Gaza.
by the way, that's one of the difficulties as far as what follows after Israel destroys Hamas. So It looks like, unless something changed, it looks like Israel's going to keep going. I mean, they're already almost at the southern border. Looks like they're going all the way down there, and they're just going to go house by house, person by person, tunnel by tunnel until they've completely wiped out Hamas. Then there's no Hamas. Well, afterwards, you can't just say, okay, we got rid of Hamas. Now you guys can handle things in Gaza now. Right? You can't just say that to the people there. These are the same people that voted in Hamas in the first place. So Israel's going to want to maintain control. Now, what you'd want in some ideal world is some sort of like other nations dealing with Gaza and saying, okay, we're going to make sure these guys stay in line. But because of things like this, you can't. Who's going to be in charge? You're going to put something with the United Nations in charge in there. We've already seen what their guys are doing. So it's this weird situation where the people of Gaza are really, really not going to want to be under the control of Israel. But what happens if you just can't trust them being under the control of themselves or anyone else?
That's true.
So anyway, long story short, you guys, will infiltrate the United Nations Relief Agency and so on, and then we'll use all of that to have terrorists infiltrate the organization. Okay, well then no one's going to trust the organization anymore, and it's not going to work. You're just going to be under the thumb of Israel for a long, long time. Looks like, unless someone else comes up with some brilliant plan.
That's a very, very racist thing to say. But yeah,
mission. It's a holy war in Islam. To kill for Allah is a way of worship. This is the stuff that nobody likes to talk about.
Let's take a look at what you're describing in what some of these kids are trained to do at a very young age.
In Gaza and the West Bank,
please show far four.
And school administrators employed by UNRWA belong to Hamas-dominated unions. Call for the destruction of Israel. UNRWA financing school curriculums that glorify terror and suicide bombing. Children are being inoculated with the belief that any and all means possible must be used to reclaim Palestine.
UNRWA students.
What is these little kids, man?
This looks insane to somebody who is if you're in the West and you are unfamiliar with that culture. To me it looks less insane, but it still looks really, really messed up. Because I'm aware of, or I'm familiar with certain cultures, Middle Eastern cultures and others, that from very early age start teaching militarized, messed up things to children. I mean, even in Turkey, you learn some really, really dumb ultra-nationalist ideas as a little child. But this is taking things to the extreme, where they actually teach children in Gaza to become children to become terrorists, to become martyrs, to blow themselves up, to kill the Jews, to fight and to liberate, and that this is their entire purpose, and so on. It's sickening, absolutely sickening.
Yeah, it's weird. Like here in America, we grew up and we play cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, and so on. Here they play jihadis and Jews.
That's true. That's how it should be.
Can you imagine? I mean, if these guys are dressed up, they're obviously going to have someone say, okay, you pretend to be a Jew, and then we run and find you.
I'm sure that's happening.
Yeah.
By the way, earlier somebody asked for this. So the clip that we just saw briefly, which was blurred, here is the Washington Post article, among others, that talked about this before. Video is set to show UN relief worker taking body of Israeli shot on October 7. You can read more on that if you just look up the keywords here. But yeah, that video was confirmed.
In the streets and call for Israel's destruction. All of this occurs in plain sight, within the watchful eye of UNRWA teachers. These students are between the ages of 8 and 10 and have already received military training.
How are they not showing this on more TV channels, shows? I mean, respect to, I don't know who's responsible, who decided to do this, if it's in Dr. Phil's team's hand or whoever, whatever this is, but stuff like this should be shown to everyone. Everybody should be seeing this in America, in Europe, around the world. It should be shown to people that this is actually what Gazan children, Palestinian children, learn, what they grow up with, which then explains how the conflict can't just come to an end with Israel saying, "Oh, okay, well, you know what, guys, let's make peace, let's shake hands, everything will be good." It doesn't work that way, because you see what's happening here.
Yeah, and I mean, with the you're right. This should be shown every time there's an in-depth discussion of the conflict. This stuff should be brought into it, and these kinds of video clips should be shared to give some of the kind of background. But it also this is also connected to what Israel's doing as far as going city to city, hunting down every last jihadi. They know there's a generation of young people who are trained, hey, when you get a little older, then go and do the same thing that Hamas has been doing. Israel's trying to send a message that it's not going to work at all, ever. So get that out of your head. If you decide that you want to grow up and become a terrorist, look at how that's going to work out for you. We want everyone programmed. This is how it's going to work out for you.
Yep.
فلسطين عربية من المي للمية.
كيف الحق العودة؟
هذا نرمى على اليهود حجار وندبح اليهود.
إن نقتل اليهود وندافع عن وطننا.
لو شو ما يصير مش راح يصير سلام.
راح ناخذ حقنا والله ينتقم منهم إن شاء الله يموتوا كلهم.
Look at this. Look at this cute little kid here.
مش راح يصير سلام.
راح ناخذ حقنا.
With Allah's help, the Jews will all die. This cute little oh, look at that. Mommy's so proud. Mommy is so proud. My little boy is going to school and is saying all the Jews will die with the help of Allah. He's making mommy proud. Look at that.
You know what's crazy is, like, if you take the same clips of the kids who are saying things like 10 or 12 years ago, because people have always gone and interviewed the kids to see what they believe. The kids who 10 or 12 years ago were saying this stuff in the interviews, those kids joined Hamas and went out and fought, and now they're being systematically hunted down.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, think about this. The UNRWA, all the people who trained these kids to then grow up and go kill, the people who trained them and supported it, or the people who look the other way because, and even though they know it's happening, these are the people who are responsible for all these deaths. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like you're a UNRWA social worker or teacher or something like that. And you're encouraging all these guys to grow up obsessed with slaughtering Jews, and now they're all killed. Now they're all getting killed. They're all getting killed because of you.
Yeah. There is an aspect that there is something that needs to be pointed out, and that is a very difficult topic to some, but people keep saying children are dying in Gaza. Children are being killed. Children are dying. So many children are victims of this war. I'm sorry, they might sound really harsh, but when we talk about children, what we're talking about are individuals, all ages, under the age of 18. It is very, very well known that in recent history, especially during the Intifadas, the first Intifada and the second Intifada, Hamas and other Palestinian groups, in fact, any Palestinian group, used children, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, to carry out terrorist attacks. They used children to carry their guns and their bombs. They used children, giving them knives to attack to attack Jews, to attack security forces. They used children to carry suicide bombs and so on. They teach children on TV that it's a heroic thing to sacrifice yourself and to attack Jews. So it's quite normal, quite understandable that lots of so-called children, by the definition of the United Nations, engage in those activities that they are taught to do, which they consider heroic, which are so much romanticized to them. In a lot of cases, there are incidents where 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds are being shot and killed. Even before this war, it happens. It happens in the West Bank. It happens at the border of Gaza. Most of the time, almost every single time actually, it involves a child at that age engaging in hostile behavior, in threatening behavior, and then being stopped with a bullet. Or a child participating in violent protests, being in the middle of a battlefield and then dying. And when that child dies, this is then being propagated as atrocity propaganda, saying, look at that, look, they're killing our children. Israel is killing Palestinian children. I'm sorry, you don't care about your Palestinian children. Palestinians don't care about the lives of their Palestinian children. To them, it's quite clear that the children serve one purpose: to grow up and become fighters against the Jews in order to liberate Palestine, a land that never ever belonged to them, which they can't take back or liberate because it never was theirs and it never will be theirs. There is no such thing. When we talk about children, very, very often we are talking about a direct participation by children in violent conflict, fueled and encouraged by their parents, by their elders, by their teachers, by UNRWA, by their state TV, and so on. And I'm sorry, but it is not anyone's responsibility to protect your children that you push to die from getting harmed. It is not anyone's responsibility. It is your responsibility. It is the parents' responsibility. It is the adult Palestinians' responsibility. If a child dies in the middle of this conflict because their parents or their society pushes them and turns them into soldiers, into fighters, into militants, that is not on the other side. That is on them, on the adults, on those who encourage this. And they are clearly encouraging it.
On a little side note, AP, correct me if I'm wrong, but according to great Muslim scholars and theologians like the Muslim Cowboy,
yes,
isn't like a 5-year-old girl? Can a 5-year-old girl be an adult woman according to the Muslim Cowboy?
Absolutely.
Can't an 11-month-old baby be an adult woman according to the Muslim Cowboy?
Absolutely.
So if an 11-month-old baby, according to the Muslim Cowboy, can be a grown woman, look at this kid right here. How is this a child? How's anyone we just saw in these video clips a child, according to the Muslim Cowboy?
They could all be adults.
This kid even has some little fuzz on his lip there. Look at that. Look, he got a little fuzz on his lip there.
That's true.
See what I'm saying? You see, he's a fully grown man. I'm surprised he's not a grandfather by now.
Yeah. According to Daniel Kikachu, if this was a girl, not a boy, during war, you could take that girl and use that girl as a sex slave.
Could be way younger.
That's what he said. And it's not just something that I'm making up, it's what he actually said. We know he said it. He said it in his debate with Mike Jones on child marriage. Mike Jones, inspiring philosophy. That's what he said.
And parents, if their child is killed in the service of that, that's a good thing.
It's encouraged in that society.
And your father was fine if you got killed in that service.
Well, this is practically what he did in real life. When he had to choose between the cause
And the cow?
His own son.
I don't. When you hear him say choose, I just immediately think of the cows.
He ruined this man. I don't care if it's 20 years from now. I can be sitting. If he says the word choose, I'm instantly going to think of I will choose the cow.
Oh man!
Who saved his own life? Choose between is practically what he did in real life. When he had to choose between the cause
and the cow,
his own son who saved his own life. In fact, I sacrificed everything to save his life. And my reward was to be disowned, shunned, and he publicly stated that my blood is allowed. That was some 12 years ago.
Halal.
12 years before I disowned him.
Well, next.
Yeah, that is a clear phrase. His blood is halal, meaning that he's allowed to be killed. I permit it, or it is permissible to kill him. That's what his father said about him. Because from their standpoint,
hey,
it is.
He should get a
treason.
halal certified shirt. You should do that. You should do. You should get a shirt that says "My blood is," and then a stamp halal certified.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Hey, did Sneeko block you too? I saw earlier that he blocked you. Something, right?
Yeah, and it's not one of these situations like, oh, if you block someone, then you're a coward. Because I block people all the time. It's mainly if I don't want to hear from you and you're like constantly trying to get my attention and posting like idiotic nonsense and stuff and trolling, then I'll just block you. But that was me like telling him to take a closer look at the verse he was quoting. So he quoted Surah 4, verse 34. Said, look, see, men are the protectors of women, isn't this noble? And I said, hey, why don't you keep reading? That's the verse that says you could beat your wives into submission. It says the translation used says it adds lightly. That's not in the Arabic. And we find in the Hadith that you could beat a woman until her skin turns green. Muhammad will rebuke the woman, not the man. So I told him to take a closer look at his sources, and he blocked me over that. So this is not me trolling or just posting random nonsense. I was actually saying, hey, why don't you take a closer look at the verse you're sharing?
Yeah, he blocked me too, and I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure exactly why it was, but there were two things. One of them was this thing where he posted the Quran verse, and I said, "Don't listen to the Quran. Don't beat your wives." I don't know if this is why he blocked me, or because I don't want to put it on the screen now, but where he posted something about degenerates being encouraged while he, as a religious person, is banned. And then I posted a clip of him speaking to this very busty girl and saying, "Oh, maybe we should record our own private porn at home," and saying, "So everyone, all those people are degenerates, unlike you, Sneeko, right?" And then I got blocked. So I don't know what exactly.
It is amazing that's how Sneeko's been rolling for years. All the stuff he's been doing, just like Tate is not only trafficking women but training young guys. Like, hey, young guys, hey, you young guys in high school, this is what you could do. This is how you can use your girlfriend to make you money, so that you sit back and you just type messages to the guy pretending to be the girl, and you can get tons of money while your girl is naked in front of the guy on a webcam. And then as soon as he's getting blasted and getting kicked off platforms, then just transforms himself into the hero against degeneracy. I'm the guy who's against degeneracy and immorality. I'm your hero. But then Sneeko does the exact same thing. And it's amazing. You could just pretend that you didn't do all this stuff for your entire life.
Yeah. Ari.
Yeah, that is how he'd be. He'd be like, what? Why would you have to wait till 18?
Mosab says students protesting for Palestine need to know that just might surprise them. But first, as we go to break, more shocking words from the mouths of young Palestinians.
شو بيقولوا لك؟ بيدرسوك عن المقاومة؟ شو بيقولوا لك؟
انه احنا لازم جميعنا نأيد المقاومة، والمقاومين هم اللي لازم يرجعون لبلدنا،
Is this legible? I think it is, right?
Yeah. What was taken by force will be returned by force.
Okay.
أنا أقرأ اليهود.
I hate the Jews.
بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
Look at the irony.
Yeah, they teach us that Jews are terrorists. Why are Jews terrorists? Because when we go kill them, they shoot back. You see, they're terrorists.
Yeah.
إنهم هدول مش مناح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. إذا بطعن عمل عمليات الداعش.
I played that clip before. I saw that before in the past. But it's a really messed up video of children being asked what they learn about Jews, and then they children explain everything, explain how they learn to ram cars into Jews when they're grown up. They learn to stab Jews and throw rocks at Jews and so on. It's really, really, really messed up stuff. If I can quickly find it here, actually, I might put it up as well.
Student organizations' reactions to the Hamas attack revealed a disturbing degree of ivy-covered intellectual rot. Americans nationwide have been appalled and shocked. The leadership of these supposedly highly sophisticated schools are so busy virtue signaling that words are violence, but violence, horrific, inhumane violence, is social justice, that they have forgotten it is their job to teach their students to think and to test reality. I was absolutely outraged about what was happening on college campuses, and I could not remain silent. I posted that message and more on social media. I'm here with Mosab Yousef, son of the Hamas co-founder. He turned his back on Hamas and is estranged from his family.
Here is the book. I would really highly recommend getting this, reading it, listening to it. Either way, it's very, very good. Very good.
Hey, you know, they should come up with the updated version. And I'm telling you, it's going to sound crazy, but across the top, they should put in quotations, if I have to choose between 1.6 billion Muslims and a cow, I will choose the cow.
Now, you should write another book that is called Choosing the Cow, or Why I Chose the Cow.
Why I Chose the Cow.
So here's the video.
لأنه نعمل حرب إنه نفرج اليهود إنه إحنا مش إنه إحنا مش.
See that, to prove that we are stronger than Jews. That is very, very important. That is foundational to the thinking. Everything, like even the October 7th attacks, you see, we are strong. You are strong. And as far as Israel not actually understanding Islam and never wanting to actually go after Islam or make the connection to Islam, they do understand the mentality of the people they're dealing with, that it's just you have to show them that you're strong and that they're not, like in the mentality. So, I mean, think about this. We will kill them to show that we are strong. We will do this to show that we are strong. Okay, how's that working out for you? You're looking really weak right now. And you're all basically, your new tactic is get a bunch of communists and socialists and woke far leftists on your moaning and wailing on college campuses for you. Does that show you're strong? Does that show you're strong? Because that looks really, really weak to me.
Yeah. I found this funny earlier. Aiden Heiken posted this. It says, Palestinian from Hamas versus Palestinian from the West.
Yeah. look at him like, are you kidding me?
في ناس بحبوا فلسطين بدهم يحاربوا وبضحوا بدمهم عشان فلسطين. أنا بدي أهزمهم بالحرب. بدي أهزمهم. بيعلمونا إنه الأقصى إلنا وإلنا يعني الحق، يعني إلنا فلسطين والأراضي كلها إلنا، لأنهم بسبب كذبهم وانتهاكاتهم إنهم يقولون إنه الهيكل تحت المسجد الأقصى، ولا مرة إنه يكون الهيكل تحت المسجد.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, gosh, these kids should be, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to, and it's just kill Jews, kill Jews, kill Jews. That's all you're for. That's all you're for in life, is just killing Jews.
There's something that some people find shocking when when they are informed about this, but it's not a joke. This kid just basically is bringing it up in a sense, but so a lot of people who are aware of the history of Abrahamic religion, of Jerusalem, of Judaism, are aware of the temples, the first temple, second temple, and so on. Lots of Palestinians, especially in Gaza, under the instructions of Hamas, are told that there never was a temple. They're told that the second temple and first temple never existed. They're told that that it's a lie, that it's a fabrication, that that this was only made up by the Zionists, and that there was always only a masjid, a mosque, Masjid al-Aqsa, and that this whole idea of a temple is a Zionist lie, a Zionist fabrication in order to steal this land from the rightful owners, who are the Palestinian Muslims. It sounds insane if you're familiar with the history of it, but this is actually what they teach, what Hamas encourages teaching children. And you can then indeed encounter people on Twitter who are Palestinians or who learn from that kind of stuff, and who actually, as adults in the 21st century, on Twitter, in conversations between adults, propose the idea that the temples never existed and that this is just a Zionist lie. It is so messed up. This is the kind of deception, the kind of insanity that they have to resort to in order to justify their own ideas and in order to vilify the Jews. But yeah, so this is Temple Mount, holiest place for Jews, where after the Islamic conquest, mosques and a mosque compound were built on top of the Jewish holiest site. And yet now many Muslims claim that this is holy for them and doesn't belong to the Jews. That's that.
الأقصى أنا أقرأ اليهود بعلمونا إن الصهيونية هم أعدائنا وهم أهم إشي لازم يسوي فيهم عملية.
يعني إنهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
بيحكوا لنا عن اليهود إنهم هدول مش منيح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. بيحكوا لنا هدول غدارين. وبيحكوا لنا إنه هدول بغضونا.
There's no way that kid said fickle.
بطعن. بدعس عليهم.
Look at that. This child says that he's ready to stab a Jew and to run over Jews. If you're taught stuff like this in school, on TV, or just in your neighborhood, if a child learns that these are heroic acts, it's very likely that these children will, before they are even adults, engage in violent actions against Jews because they somehow have this stupid, childish idea of heroism where they think, oh, I have to do something great and make people proud of me. And this is how it happens. So there was just a month ago or so, there was a video of a 15-year-old, wasn't it? I think it was a 15-year-old who went up to a border guard in Israel and tried to stab him and was then shot. And people acted like it's again Israel shooting an innocent person who did nothing wrong. But this is what they teach and what they encourage. This is the culture.
And again, guys, look up in the corner. These are the UN students. Ready to stab a Jew, ready to kill a Jew, ready to ram a Jew. We have to do all this stuff to the Jews. These are the UN students.
The United Nations is rotten to its core. Rotten.
بطعن. بدعس عليهم. عمل عمليات. الدهس عمليات الدعس عمليات الطعن.
And by the way, these are the kids in Jerusalem, man. These aren't kids. These aren't Gaza kids.
You're right. I didn't even pay attention to that fact for a moment. I'm still thinking of Gaza. Wow.
مخيمات.
ايش اكيد هدول عمليات ترفع الراس لفلسطين. العمليات هاي تاعت الدعس والسكاكين هاي إشي بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
إذا بدك بطلع.
Look at that kid's face as he says these things. This is how you.
We should go find. We should go find these exact spots and record in these spots. So this was the location where this kid was interviewed.
This is what they normalize. This is the psychopathy that they normalize, that they think is great.
إيش أكيد هدول عمليات ترفع الراس لفلسطين. العمليات هاي تاعت الدعس والسكاكين هاي إشي بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
إذا بدك بطلع بستشهد عادي.
And I guarantee you, I'm sure that there are some people in the chat, but I guarantee to you, if you show this in a discussion to these pro-Palestine people, they make excuses for these things and say, well, it's because Israel treats them like this and that way. It's because Jews treat them, because they oppress them, because they occupy them, because of this, no, it's not because of this and because of that. This is how they have been for a long time. And it always goes like this. Let's attack the Jews. Let's attack the Jews. Let's harm the Jews. Let's kill them. Let's attack them. And when they respond, then you say, oh, look, you see what they're doing to us. This is why we have such hatred against them. It's always the same story.
إن شاء الله أساعد الشباب وإن شاء الله أصير مقاوم بالمستقبل مع الدولة الإسلامية.
Family. He wrote a book, and here's what he says about these college protesters.
I love Hamas. I think Hamas.
Oh, you love a terrorist organization.
Interesting.
Harvard Square.
They should be all exterminated. And their kids, their mothers, their children, just like Hitler did.
To all those students, I say that it's very disappointing to see Americans supporting Hamas and thinking that Hamas is a cool thing. While Hamas does not respect any of those followers, while those followers don't know that Hamas would torture them and massacre them with no mercy, they call them.
I wonder if this person is, where's this person from?
Any Hamas and thinking that Hamas is a cool thing.
I wonder where these people are from. Should be deported immediately. Oh, CUNY. Huh. Uh-huh. Well.
While Hamas does not respect any of those followers, while those followers don't know that Hamas would torture them and massacre them.
What'd you
with
say,
no
CUNY?
mercy, they call.
What? I said CUNY.
What'd you say, CUNY?
Yeah.
Oh, CUNY? City University of New York? Is that where you're saying they're from?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I took a class. I think I took a couple classes there.
Nice. Oh, that's why you're such a Nazi.
Yeah, they actually in the graduate schools in New York, whatever graduate school you're in, it's cool. You could take classes at any of the other schools. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
Call them useful idiots. They don't know that Hamas is a dark, black hole.
You guys are.
People really don't get it. Hamas doesn't care about individuals. Hamas tortures and publicly executes people whom they perceive as collaborators or traitors, which they arbitrarily judge. I mean, there were videos of them after the hostage release, and after one of the agreements, the first time that hostages were released and then Palestinian prisoners from Israel were released, there were public executions where people were applauding the execution, and the executions were justified by pro-Palestine guys on social media, saying, "Oh, they are collaborators, they're traitors to the cause." This is this is the mindset of these people. This is the mindset of Hamas. And the thing is, you would expect to expose that Hamas is a terrorist organization that doesn't even have much regard for the lives of Palestinians themselves. They will torture and kill fellow Palestinians, and this should maybe make these pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas people think twice about who they support. But even those supporters will justify that kind of behavior because they will say, "Oh, they're traitors. That's why they were executed. They're traitors. That's why they deserve to die." Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're one of these Western protesters, you went there and you started going your own way, they would probably have you killed as well. There was actually a guy who went to, I forgot his name. Was he an Italian guy? There was some guy who moved to Gaza to support the Palestinian cause. He was killed after a while. If anybody knows the name, let me know in the chat. I forgot about that.
Nazis. You're the one killing Jews. Genocide.
You have no idea what you're talking about. I am being emotional. I have the right to be emotional because I speak on behalf of the children as a Palestinian child. Majority of people lack purpose. They want a cause, and without a cause, they don't exist.
It's weird because he says child, but he says children. So the plural goes from ch to sh. It's interesting.
No, it's because here somebody told him how it's pronounced. The other video was slightly in the past. Here he still said children, but then
he said child. He said child right there.
I have the right to be emotional because I speak on behalf of the children as a Palestinian child.
See, he said child.
I see what you mean.
That's weird. Like if he was studying English with flashcards or something, it would say singular child, plural children.
Children.
Majority of people lack purpose. They want a cause, and without a cause, they don't exist.
You say that they're looked at by Hamas and the Palestinians as useful idiots. What do you mean by that?
I spent lots of time in Hamas prisons with other Hamas leaders and Hamas members from different districts. Then, most importantly, I worked with the Israeli intelligence and I had the honor to be a part of the counterterrorism unit. And I was born there. And
I love how much he loves his relationship with the Israeli intelligence and the Israeli people. I just so far till now I've heard him so many times just speak so respectfully and so lovingly of it. The honor.
Part of that culture, part of that religion. And I barely understood this monster. That's why I described it as black hole. Then some people hear about Hamas or they see an avatar of a Hamas fighter carrying a rifle, a freedom fighter, and they think it's a fancy idea, to support such a monster. This is why I call them idiots, absolutely idiots, because they don't know what they are supporting. They are supporting a monster that has been hijacking an entire society and in
I said, look at these chicks flipping out here.
Supporting a monster that has been hijacking an entire society and endangering the entire Middle East, pushing the world towards a global war. Instead of condemning such a monster that they just committed ethnic cleansing against innocent people. Then kidnapped hundreds of hostages, then used their own people as human shields. And none of those pro-Palestine people condemned Hamas up to this day. How long would it take them to realize that this is not only enemy of Israel, it's enemy of civilization?
Indeed. Indeed. There's always been a saying in Israel, which is that the West is next. After after Hamas is done with Israel, if they ever managed that, which will not happen, the West would be next. They would use that, their destruction of Israel, as their foundation, and would then from there on want to go on and move to expand and conquer more. And this is not something that people are just saying. This is not something that Israelis are just saying. It is something that Hamas themselves have said before. It is something that Hamas had in their original covenant, in their charter. It is something that Hamas spokespeople themselves have said. They have explicitly said that their goal would be to cleanse Palestine of the Jews and then to start from there a global caliphate. That is their idea. It's not about land. It's not about Palestine. It's not about any of that stuff. It is about the duty to get rid of the Jews and then to expand and continue fighting. Mosab Hassan Yousef in his book makes the point and says at that point he's speaking to the Palestinian people themselves, and he says, just look at yourselves. What do you think would happen if Israel suddenly disappeared? If all the Zionists, if all the Jews packed their things and just went away, or if they somehow suddenly disappeared entirely and the entire land belonged to you, what would you guys actually do? Would there be peace? Would there be prosperity? Would there be success? No. They would just start fighting each other. It would be chaos. There would be violence again. It would never stop because you guys don't know how to live in peace and how to prosper. You don't appreciate what you have. All you know is war. All you know is fighting. All you know is hating.
Yeah, can you imagine if a bunch of jihadis took over Israel? And then, of course, these jihadis would keep fighting and they would make it pretty much the worst place to live in the entire planet, except for all the other places jihadis took over. And then all the people who didn't want to live under jihadi rule would do what? They moved to the West. So you'd end up with millions more refugees to get out of the place controlled by the jihadis.
That'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can't get enough of those jihadis taking over countries. They do such a bang up job.
We need more jihadis in the world. The Uralic tribe said Bob from Speaker's Corner recently asked a Muslim woman if she supports child marriage, etc. And she openly said yes in front of camera. Like, what the hell? Well, that's what they do.
It's pretty normal, guys. Again, we've been working on that for years. They were lying about it. We made it to where they can't lie about it. And when they can't lie about it, then they have to defend it.
Did Bob at least say,
"You're sick. You're sick"?
I hope he did. Ayatollah Khamenei says, Virgin Dr. Phil. Now that's some improper behavior, young lady. Versus based Dr. Philip. Renounce Islam heretic. Waterboarding intensifies. Ari Wasserman, if I had to choose between 15 million innocent Jewish people and 300 million Arab crowns, I would cash me outside and flat. Exactly. Talmud Town Construction's always here working. Thank you so much for everything you do. Imagine the disappointment Daniel Akikicu felt when he went to Bad Baby's OF page and saw it wasn't an 11-month-old. I wonder if he tried to sue. Probably he did.
Yeah, for false advertising. You said baby. I thought I was gonna be watching a baby. An adult woman baby.
Oh man. Breaking. Goat Hub negotiates $10 billion deal with Behead Baby, which was quickly walked back after they found out she wasn't a literal baby.
And that the ba wasn't for
goats.
You're sick. You're sick.
We thought you were a baby goat, but you weren't.
Miss B said this dude has the look of someone who has totally beheaded someone on camera. Sure glad he's not a jihadi anymore. He is intense. Mosab is intense. He wouldn't harm a fly from how he talks and how he acts. But he was part of some messed up operations. He has seen death up close too many times. Aris has made a super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Shell says, did you guys see Rebecca's video of swastika flags in London at pro-Palestine marches? UK is done is crazy. Police defending anti-Semitism. It is horrific. You guys should do UK trip speakers corner. Hey, this is so funny. Now we're being told about Rebecca's videos. Like she's a...
Hey, that's awesome, isn't it? Hey guys,
Yeah.
Hey guys, did you see the latest Rebecca video? You guys should try and collab with her at some point.
That's very, very nice. I'm happy to see that. I saw it popped up. I saw it. I didn't watch it yet. I will have a look at it. We do have some plans for the UK. That's all I can say at this point. Haj Rayan Al Ghazlani says Gargat the Talmudic tree. Indeed. Loaves of Bread says is Farfura red because his grandmother was a Jew. Yeah, probably. Carrie Patterson says blessings, Dr. David Wood and future brother AP. If Momo was the messenger for Arabs, why does Islam have a mandate to convert the world? Since they would have their own messenger with their own revelation from God. It is a very complicated topic, but it changed over time. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also if you look, I mean, Muhammad is, even though all these different religions have their messengers, Islam is supposed to tell you to go back to your messenger because they don't believe they're following them, right? In other words, he didn't believe that most Christians are actually following Jesus. He didn't believe that lots of Jews were actually obeying Moses and the Torah. And so if you look, and you can see that right there in Surah 5, because you have it all back to back. So Surah 5, verse 43, Jews come to Muhammad to settle a dispute. Allah says, why are they coming to you? Send them back to the Torah. Then Surah 5, verse 47, Christians, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. And then 548, that the Quran is, it depends on the translation, the guardian or something like that over the previous revelations. But if you look at how it's doing it, it's, hey, people distort and misrepresent their scriptures because not everyone can read. So people are misrepresenting them and they misinterpret them. And so, yeah, Muhammad came to make you go back to your scriptures. So,
yeah.
And if you're not, then you have to be subjugated to make you go back to them.
That's what they do. The Crispy Goldfish said, which group has more tendencies to be more violent, Shias or Sunni? Also love you guys. Screaming goat pre-chance. David.
As far as Shias or Sunnis, I mean, we'd obviously be more concerned about Sunnis, but yeah, I'm not sure whether you would attribute that to just the fact that Sunnis have had a massive majority. And so Shias have been in a more defensive position. But I mean, you can look at individual Shias and say, well, this guy's obviously better, much better than your average Salafi or something like that. And you can look at specific groups within there, like the Ismailis and so on. But at the end of the day, I mean, look at places like Iran and so on. It doesn't seem any more peaceful than like Salafi Islam would be.
I was actually just asking for your screaming goat, but it's okay that you answered the question as well. Yeah, within context, of course. In today's time, the violence comes more out of the Sunni side with Sunni groups, especially the Salafi ideology has been very predominant in taking over the violent aspects. Although in mainstream Sunni circles. The Taliban, for example, is not a Salafi group. It is a regular Sunni Hanafi Muslim group. Shia is also active in different ways. They also have their own violence. The Hezbollah is Shia. And in history, the Shia Muslims, when they were in a minority, they had their own organizations which consisted of rebelling against other Sunnis and all that. It's complicated, but right now it's of course much more likely for Sunni movements to become violent.
You know, when you said Shia, I was imagining Mosab saying it, and if he were to say Shia, I wouldn't know if he was saying Shia or like Chia, like a Chia pet. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. That's funny.
Shia.
All right, let's continue.
So when I see protesters on
hold on, hang on. I just got an awesome idea. You take the Ayatollah and make a chia pet head. You know how they make the chia pets and they make your hair, you put this chia seeds on the hair and then you grow it. What if you had the Ayatollah Khomeini and made a chia pet after him, and he's the Chia?
That would be nice.
Everyone would want one of those. Even Sunnis and Shias would want one of those. You heard it here, folks. Whoever uses that idea and makes a Chia, you know where you got the idea. Send me my cut. I'm not greedy. 10%. I'm good with that.
That's the worst idea I've heard in my entire life, and I am probably going to cut this part out of the live stream just because it was so.
Just because you want to steal my idea for yourself.
That's true.
So when I see protesters on campuses like Harvard, of course I was outraged. I am still outraged. What's happening is insanity. Those pro-Palestine people need to go to a mental asylum.
And be in their straight jacket.
Pretty beast.
And be given the electoral shock therapy and then lobotomized.
I was indoctrinated to hate a lot of people. First and foremost, I was taught to hate myself.
It's very nice to see Yasmin Mohammed here.
Very nice. Very nice. Like to see her get more exposure.
I was indoctrinated to hate a lot of people. First and foremost, I was taught to hate myself. I was taught to hate Jewish people, that they are the enemies of Allah, and that the worst possible thing in the world to be is a Jew.
She's amazing. I love her stuff. I love how outspoken and courageous she is and her takes on matters. Glad that she's an ex-Muslim voice out there, and also has a very, very good book that is called Unveiled, and is very much active on her Twitter, but also recently started being more active on YouTube. In fact, she had some good. She had Sam Harris as a guest on her own podcast that she started. Just pointing that out to show that she is getting quite some traction lately. She's been starting. She has been working on her podcast besides her regular activism, and you can check her out here, Yasmin Mohammed. She is starting some serious work as well, and she's doing a great job.
Hey, you should have her on, man.
I should. I had her on twice in the past, or maybe 3 times. I should again. It's been a long time since I talked to her.
I was taught to hate myself. I was taught to hate Jewish people, that they are the enemies of Allah, and that the worst possible thing in the world to be is a Jew.
Free Palestine! Viva, viva Palestina! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Look at these just like brainwash more. Isn't that interesting? Like you just train people to chant and you could say anything to them.
Which
You could say
occupation?
you could say free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles.
Imhotep. Oh man, the mummy. It's always interesting to engage with these people when they say anti-occupation of Palestine. What occupation precisely they are talking about? And because it's when you ask the Palestinians or the Muslim people, when you ask them about the occupation, what they mean by occupation is that the existence of Israel itself is an occupation of Palestine, that Israel must be entirely and fully destroyed, and all of that land should belong to the Muslim Arabs and should be a Palestinian country. That's what they mean by occupation. If you ask some other people, like lots of these ignorant idiots who probably join these protests without knowing much because they want to virtue signal, what they mean by occupation, they probably mean, just the expansions after, I don't know, 1967. Or many of them will probably not even know what exactly they are talking about when they say occupation. There is no occupation.
Yeah, and guys, so what AP is just pointing out, anytime you're in a discussion with someone, because keep in mind, your average person in the West who's even protesting, they have no clue what they've bought into to the ridiculous narrative that there's this place called Palestine and Jews went in there and stole it, and they just kicked the people off their land. Now these poor people are all stuck. And so when people are saying end the occupation, very important, what occupation do you mean? Do you mean like what's going on in Gaza? Are you talking about that? Or do you mean like Israel is itself an occupied land? If so, occupied from what? The Ottoman Empire? What are you talking about? The British, have they occupied the British Mandate? Have they occupied the Ottoman Empire? What the heck are you talking about? Because those were the places that actually had the land before.
Yeah. And there is a phrase that they always repeated. You heard it here as well. Even a teacher at the UNRWA school in this clip was saying, all of Palestine belongs to Arabs, and it will belong to the Arabs again. Okay, why? How exactly did that happen? How does that happen? Think about this whole land which they describe as Palestine, right? Think about this whole land here, which they describe as Palestine. Let's bring it up. Let's look for some good map here. From the river to the sea. Let's see, from the river to the sea. Here, let's look at this. From the river to the sea here. Look at this. This is the river, the Jordan River, and this is the Mediterranean Sea. That's what they mean. They mean from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which means all of it will be Palestine. There will be no more Israel. All of it belongs to the Arabs, and it belonged to the Arabs. That is their claim when they say things like these. But how exactly did that happen? At what point, under whose authority, did all of this land end up belonging to the Arabs? Nobody ever made such a decision. Nobody ever authorized any such thing. Nobody ever said to the Arabs as a whole, as a collective, hey, you know what? This land is your land. The Arabs living in this region never got this whole land here for themselves. They never owned it. It never belonged to them. The logic is that at some point they were the majority here in this land, whose borders are now drawn like this. But most of the land was not even populated. But because they were the majority in this land, this naturally means that the entire land here naturally belongs to them. That's what they mean. But what logic is that? Who decided that? Who made up that notion? Who is the authority to create such a rule? Is that a rule in nature? Tell me where it is. There is no such thing. That is their logic. They say we lived here, therefore all of this is ours. No, it's not. It's not. Sorry. Even if Arabs were living all over this land in the past, that still does not mean that the land, after borders are drawn, naturally belongs to them. There is no such thing. In the 1920s, this territory, along with many others, was taken from the Ottoman Empire, which was part of the First World War. And the League of Nations, which came before the United Nations, said it will be under the authority of Great Britain, which will, in this land, establish a home for the Jewish people where they can rebuild their land. And Great Britain then said, okay, we're going to split this in two, this whole region, Jordan and Palestine. We're going to split this in two. Transjordan will belong to the Arabs, and Palestine will belong to the Jews. That's what they decided. Later, it didn't work out. And the British said, you know what, let's split this. Let's create an Arab nation in this place and also a Jewish nation. But the Arabs were never okay with it. They have for the entire time always argued entirely baselessly in a completely privileged, entitled way that no, nobody else has any right to decide what happens here. All of this belongs to us. Okay, by what standard? By none. Nobody ever gave them such an authority. And they have never learned to accept the fact that they don't own this land. It doesn't belong to them.
Free, free, free Palestine! Viva, viva Palestina!
What the Viva, viva Palestina.
Free, free, free Palestine! Viva, viva Palestina!
That's like the dumbest one I've heard. Like, they say what you want about them. Say what you want about them. They're normally pretty good at coming up with chants, right? They are pretty good at coming up with chants. In fact, when we were at that conference in Israel, a guy in the Q&A actually brought up, "Hey, these guys are better at coming up with like cool chants than we are. So how are we gonna deal with that problem?" But viva, viva Palestina, guys. I understand trying it out. I understand trying it out and saying, "Hey, let's go ahead and try this out." Guys, that's a no-go on that one. Just give up that one. That sucks.
That is very, very corny and cringe-worthy.
It's cringe, totally cringe.
It makes me want to die. Yeah.
It's literally genocide on my ears.
It is.
Palestine! Free, free Palestine! They have killed over 10,000 Palestinians!
You're saying what has been happening on
Appeal to emotions. So this was early on in the conflict. They have killed over, what did she say?
They have killed over 10,000 Palestinians!
They have killed over 10,000 Palestinians. Okay.
That must have been from like months ago.
Yeah. But okay, what exactly do we do with this information? What exactly does that mean?
Then, so think about what this means. It means we have to go wipe them all out.
Yeah.
Like, what? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Wipe out the Jews?
Plus, I'm sorry, but killing 10,000 people of a certain group in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, we see the German side of AP coming out right now.
And by
I regard the killing of 10,000 people as a small matter.
And by that,
from my German perspective, think about how many people the Germans killed. Way more than 10,000. So what's 10,000 drop in the ocean?
And by that,
AP, killing one person can be a bad thing.
And by that, I mean very, very clearly, just think about the context of who or what is being killed. It's easy to say, they killed 10,000 Palestinians. They killed 10,000 people. They killed 10,000.
As if they just walked in and killed random people.
It doesn't just putting a number out there and saying they killed so many people doesn't mean anything. If there were 10,000 terrorists present and 10,000 terrorists were killed, that's not remotely the same as going into a population and randomly killing 10,000 innocent people. That's not remotely the same thing. So just putting out a number of killed people out there is a weak and terrible appeal to emotions. And unfortunately, it works because humans tend to be very, very stupid. The Hamas or Palestinians on October 7 came and killed over 1,000 Israelis. Okay? Why is that not bad? Why is that not something to be outraged about? Or is the logic here, oh, we killed 1,000, but they killed 10,000. That is worse. Why is that worse? Why is that worse by any standard? It is war. Okay? It is war. One side attacked civilians and directly targeted civilians and killed them. Directly targeted civilians and tortured and abducted and killed them and raped them. Whereas the other side said, okay, we cannot accept this. This is war. And then went in there and started bombing and waging war. And in war, the other side loses militants in this war and also loses civilians as civilian casualty and also loses their own, by the way, because it happens during war. This is wartime. If you didn't want a war, you shouldn't have applauded it. If you didn't want a war, you shouldn't have cheered for it. Numbers alone don't mean anything. Numbers alone could mean that you are losing because your side is losing many more people right now. High death count on your side probably means you shouldn't have started this war if you didn't want this war. As far as we know, there is a 2-to-1 non-combatant to combatant death ratio. And that is not a bad ratio at all. It means Israel is doing a good job at the moment.
And what I always, what's always most troubling to me about when they say these things, just like when you rip something completely out of the context of what actually happened. In other words, when you hear, as you're pointing out, when you hear they've killed 10,000 Palestinians, well, why? Why? Because a bunch of Hamas jihadis stormed across the border, slaughtered a bunch of people, and then ran and hid with a bunch of hostages, and therefore the Israeli Defense Forces have to go in to get their hostages, and they're fighting jihadis and hunting jihadis, and there's civilians all over the place, and the guys are hiding behind them, and a bunch of people get killed. So why did they kill 10,000 Palestinians? Why did they kill them? Oh, because these guys went and took a bunch of hostages, slaughtered a bunch of people, and then ran back there, and they're coming to get their people and coming to get the people who killed their people. That's why. See, when you leave that out, it sounds, oh my goodness, what? They killed 10,000 people. Like they just walked in and just killed 10,000 random people. It was just for nothing. It was just to do killing. You do that with anything. Imagine going around. People didn't know anything about World War II and stuff. People just going around. Did you know that all these other nations killed 3 million Japanese people? 3 million. They killed 3 million Japanese people. Can you imagine that? People go, oh my goodness, 3 million. That's so many. What kind of monsters could do such a thing? If you leave out the whole part about, the war, that would be really, really bad. It reminds me of what they do in any context. Like they flip out because we take a tiny little bite out of the Quran and they all lose their minds. Well, they also leave out why that happened. Or when you ripped up a Quran and they go, oh my goodness, look, here's them ripping up the Quran. Well, they leave out what you're responding to. And so they always do that. They do something to provoke a reaction, and then they whine about the reaction like it wasn't a reaction, like you just decided to do stuff one day.
Yeah. That's
patatas.
You're seeing what has been happening on college campuses everywhere. And joining me now are seniors from the University of Michigan, Selma and Zainab. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Wait, where are they students at?
University of Michigan.
And everywhere. And joining me now are seniors from the University of Michigan, Selma and Zainab. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Straight out of Dearborn.
Anything you want to say? And
that was such a bigoted, stereotypical remark. Why are you such a racist, David?
Oh, just because I said Dearborn? And then it's funny because in my head, I instantly started putting together a song straight out of Dearborn.
Why?
Crazy Muslim sister named Selma.
Why does every Muslim who lives in Michigan have to be from Dearborn?
No, they don't. It's just, I mean, it's just good chance, given the numbers.
Why do you force them to be from Dearborn?
I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. It's just a fact.
Hey, what is this? I was looking at my Twitter. Why am I blocked by this guy?
Yeah, I'm blocked by that too.
He's the enemy of Daniel Akikachu. Daniel Akikachu accuses this guy of being a
I can tell you exactly why you're blocked by. Yes, this
Daniel Akikachu actually calls this guy Rabbi Hamadi. He says he's basically a Jew because he's serving the Jews. That's what he says.
I remember when I got blocked by this dude, it was just a simple, all I did was quote tweet him when he was going after, I don't remember who, Muhammad Hijab or Daniel Hakikachu or something. And I quote tweeted and I said Dawa Wars or something like that. And then blocked me.
Well, you asked for it.
Response to what's been said so far.
Well, absolutely. I believe that this conversation is being contextualized in the wrong way. I believe that it's being discussed under the notion that this is a religious war, that this is a conflict between Arabs and Jews, and that Hamas is central to Palestinian suffering or Palestinian.
Number one, it is very much a religious war, especially on the Palestinian side. Number two, it is definitely a war between Arabs and Jews from the perspective of the Palestinians. Number three, Hamas is very central to it. So, yeah, I really wonder what she's going to bring in response to
I don't know, but it's going to be powerful. It's going to be powerful.
Yeah.
Resistance. And I think I want to give a bit more historical context of why we're...
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything by this lady except for the little clip they showed at the beginning where she didn't cover this. But I'm sure this is going to be a very historically sound description of what happened.
Chloe L said Palestinian kids look awfully white-skinned. I know they're colonizers. They're European colonizers.
Well, they're not, to be fair, they're not as white as Muhammad, Chloe.
True. You don't remember, Sid? Look at Zaki Friends Islamic Kids propaganda. I will check. Ari Wasserman said this is what happens to children when their only doctor is Zakir Naik.
We're actually fighting for Palestine. When we say that we're
stop interrupting.
Historical context of why we're actually fighting for Palestine. When we say that we're pro-Palestine, we're not advocating for any military group. We're advocating for the total liberation of all oppressed peoples.
I get the contextualization, but I also get a lot of buzzwords strung.
Oh, really?
Like
the oppressed people in Pakistan?
Okay, she says context. Context. She says context, and then she just says something as vague as this. What in the world does it even mean?
So I want to give context. When we say free Palestine, we're talking about oppressed peoples everywhere, like Yazidis.
Yazidis.
And Hindus and Christians who are all persecuted in Muslim lands and oppressed. And that's who we're fighting for. Yeah,
contextualization, but I also get a lot of buzzwords strung together. But I'm asking you what you think and you believe. Let's start with what happened on October 7th. Do you endorse that?
I reject the premise of that question because I don't believe that the person asking me that question has the moral authority to ask it until they first and foremost condemn the violence.
Nobody has the moral authority here. You are asked a question about your perspective on it.
How do you view it? How do you view what happened?
I reject the moral authority of the blah, 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 blah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. Like before we even continue, everything this girl is saying, everything she's saying, I'm convinced that I'm about to get a mixture of complete idiotic Islamic nonsense and complete idiotic woke nonsense all rolled up into one giant ball. That's what we're going to get. But I'm saying it now. There are 5 minutes left in this discussion. If at any point in this discussion, this chick right here looks over at Mosab and says, "Cash me outside," I will think she's the coolest person in the entire world, and I will everything else she says, no matter how idiotic, will be completely forgiven. You heard it here, folks.
Thank you.
Violent formation of Israel and the ensuing Palestinian deaths. And in fact, I find it unfair that advocates for Palestine are first forced to preemptively condemn acts of violence before their platform is considered legitimate. It plays into Islamophobic tropes.
Islamophobic tropes.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but if you're unable to respond to something as simple as October 7, do you endorse? The question wasn't even do you condemn. The question was, do you endorse October 7? And your basic response to that is, I don't have to answer that question. You don't have the authority, and you don't understand the premise and this and that and the historical context. And shut up. Just tell us what you think about this massive incident. It will not be forgotten. As much as people want it to be forgotten, the details, the horror, the pictures that we saw on October 7 will not be forgotten. There was brutal violence. If you think, and this is what's being implied here, that what was done October 7 is under certain circumstances justifiable, then you should shut up and never speak about anything. It is never justifiable. Things were done on October 7 that cannot be under any circumstances be justifiable. Even if it were true that Israel was treating Palestinians unfairly, even if it were true that Israel was oppressing or occupying Palestinians or Palestine, it should never be justifiable what was done on October 7. That's it. There should be a complete rejection of that, first off. That's why this question is being asked.
Yeah, and she's just moronic in the sense that this question's obviously going to come up because, hey, if you're saying Jews are wrong for killing Palestinians, are you consistent here? You don't believe it's okay to kill Jews, do you? You don't believe it's okay to start these things, do you?
Well, I can't say anything about this because I reject the moral authority of the blah 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 blah.
You could believe that Israel's wrong. This woman could believe that Israel's wrong, could believe that Israel's on occupied land, could condemn everything that happened in the 20th century, could condemn all that, and still say, there's no way I would endorse what Hamas did. You could very easily say, just as you can say, hey, I believe that Israel has a right to defend itself, and go hunt down Hamas jihadis and still condemn something that Israel did. Like, I don't know the details, but there was some like food I don't know, aid workers or something like that who just got killed. You could condemn that in multiple ways. You could say, like, if it was deliberate, you could condemn it because they were like deliberate. You could say, if they were deliberately targeting these guys, that's evil. If it wasn't deliberate and it's accidental, you could condemn it for saying, hey, you should have been more careful in shooting people because that's important. You should be really, really careful. There's all sorts of room for condemning something and understanding the greater context. So I don't know why she wouldn't just say, hey, of course, anything that was targeting civilians or anything else like that, condemn it. I condemn it all. But let's go back to the overall issue or something like that. I don't know, but it just comes across like it's crazy because what she's doing here and what she's saying is appealing to absolutely no one except college students. No one else thinks that this is a good response. It's idiot college students are the ones who are programmed to talk and think like this now.
That's true. That is very, that's not true.
I don't believe you have the moral or intellectual authority as an atheist to say what is true or good or right, AP. So I'm just going to start talking like that.
A few things here. Deliberately killing civilians, torturing civilians, raping people, abducting civilians. Of course, there are many more things to be added. If you want to put the pictures out there and then talk about what else was done on that day, we can talk about all of those. But let's just begin with these. If you think that under any of these circumstances, okay, let's say you are fine under some circumstances with deliberately targeting and killing civilians. Do you think it's okay to the torture that was done? People being burned alive, tied up against trees and burned, and so on. People being raped, which has been verified by now. Abducting civilians, taking babies captive, including babies here. Babies. Do you think these things were justified? Well, I don't think you have the moral authority to ask me this question. Shut up. Shut up, terrorist.
Homophobic tropes.
Yes.
Well, let's just get down to right and wrong.
Okay.
And if you don't want to answer the question, that is an answer. Do you condemn what happened on October 7th?
Of course, we do not justify murdering any innocent civilians. But again, the framework of the question makes it seem as if the situation is the result only because of October 7th, when there have been several massacres for decades leading up to this. So when we have been the recipients of that violence and we are first asked to...
And geez, again, this one is also basically giving a non-answer to the question.
Condemn violence, I find that there's a sense of hypocrisy in those questions when our suffering is not being recognized. And the first thing we're asked is to condemn.
What do you...
Are you freaking kidding me? The whole world is talking about the suffering of the terrorists and the suffering of the Palestinians at the moment. And she's bothered by this simple question. Shut up. Stop with this victim playing.
You think Israel was going to do when Hamas cuts a hole in the fence and comes over the top and kills 1,300 people? What did you think they should have done?
I think they have every right to go in combat with Hamas, but I don't think they have the right for 92% of the death count to be civilians.
What?
They burn and...
Did she just say, where's she getting your statistics from, Mohammed Hijab? 92%?
Not even Hamas themselves claimed that.
Yes, it's funny. Like, you have Hamas, and to put it mildly, we're suspicious of any figures put out by Hamas. But the figures that Hamas puts out, you end up with about a 2-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio, which historically, as military historians put out, even according to the numbers that Hamas is pointing out,
not even the terrorists themselves are saying, are giving us such numbers, and this woman is there saying 92%.
Yes, so it's funny. So this chick right here, apart from Mohammed Hijab, she gave the most insane statistics that would be laughed out of the room by Hamas themselves. Hamas would say, are you serious? Are you serious? We're not even saying that because we're not that crazy. And you're going on Dr. Phil and spouting this nonsense. So what we can say is, as moronic as she sounds with that figure she just gave, she's massively more. So Hamas is massively more reliable in their statistics than this girl. And this girl is massively more reliable than the champion of Dawah, the champ, Mohammed Hijab.
And the Hamas in a crib.
The Hamas leadership is probably sitting there watching this and thinking, what? Did you just really say that? Not even we put out such propaganda. We can learn something from this woman.
Yeah. Do you see that?
Death count to be civilians.
If they burn an infant in a crib.
He didn't even respond to it.
Yeah. Do you see that as a moral equivalent to a collateral death from a bomb being dropped as an act of war?
They have explicitly targeted civilian areas that have been marked as civilian areas. Israel has the registry for every person in Gaza.
And if that's where the enemy is hiding, do they have a right to attack them?
No, they do not have the right to kill.
There are some things that are just fundamental human decency. And when I ask...
Why is this cut so badly?
Some things that are right
No,
to attack them.
no, they do not have the right to kill.
There are some things.
Isn't this cut in a weird way? So international law says that you are that no party is supposed to conduct targeted attacks on civilian buildings, civilian territory, hospitals, and so on, unless they are used by the other side for military purposes. And then there are, of course, regulations. But this whole idea that under no circumstances is it allowed to target a civilian building, for example, that's not true. That's not true. If that was the case, then one side could just attack and then go and hide inside residential apartments and say, hey, you can't bomb us. That's not how it works.
That are just fundamental human decency. And when I ask you if what happened on October 7th is something you condemn, and you say, well, you have to look at that by looking at hundreds of years of conflict. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's either right or it's wrong, and it was wrong, and I don't need 100 years of conflict to know it was
the
wrong.
fact of the matter is that Hamas, yes, did take innocent life. Why did Hamas take away innocent life? Why was Hamas platformed? Why was Hamas funded? Why is Hamas empowered to take away innocent life?
Let me tell you something. When somebody comes over a fence and goes into someone's house and burns their infant in its crib, I don't give a damn why they did it. It's wrong.
Pierce Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.
That was pretty beast.
I've read it that the charter of Hamas is to eliminate the Jewish race.
That's actually a quote from Muhammad. It's a quote from Muhammad, Dr. Phil, that is in the Hamas chart.
Yeah.
Not stopping with Israel, wiping them off the face of the earth. Is that true?
This is true, but it does not end there. Now we have the problem with the pro-Palestine who are actually giving Hamas cover. They are participants in the crime.
He's awesome. He's awesome, man. These women here, they are complicit in this. They are giving them cover.
Look at her face.
That's awesome.
Who are actually giving Hamas cover. They are participants in the crime. In fact, since October 7.
That was actually kind of...
That was based.
Poor woman.
Cover. They are participants in the crime.
This should
you two ladies, you are participants in the crime. If I have to choose between you two and a cow, I choose the cow.
In fact, since October 7,
just because of that reaction from her, I can't hate her right now, to be honest.
They are participants in the crime. In fact, since October 7,
this is the perfect time for her to jump up and say, "Cash me outside."
They
won't do it. Lost the opportunity.
Between Hamas and what so-called Palestinians, because actually there is no Palestinians. There are tribes. There is a
wait. Hold on. Stop interrupting, David.
They don't differentiate.
I love the cutaways to her. And
wait. Stop interrupting. Wait.
Between Hamas and, in fact, since October 7, I personally don't differentiate between Hamas and what so-called Palestinians, because actually there is no Palestinians. There are tribes. There is the tribe of Hamas, and there is the tribe of the Islamic Jihad, and there is the tribe of Khalil, and there is the tribe of Nablus. And each one has different interests, and all of them are conflicted. If they did not have Israel as the common enemy, they would kill each other. This is the reality of what's so-called Palestine.
Rhetoric?
You don't know what Palestine...
It's common colonial rhetoric of the oppressor and the blah, 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 and your systemic blah.
My goodness, man.
That was the most American progressive leftist thing that you can say in such a discussion. This is completely irrelevant. This is indeed an ignorant, almost you could say Orientalist, progressive take on something that is happening in the Middle East. This is how nobody over there thinks in this way. If you went over there and said, "Oh, yeah, guys, over there in America, what they're saying about us, no, that is definitely colonial rhetoric," people would look at you and think, "Shut up! Are you with the jihad or not?"
I don't like the way you're talking to me. I'm gonna go sit in my safe space chamber for a while and decompress because I've been oppressed.
Man, nobody talks like that in the Middle East. Nobody talks like that. Nobody says anything like that in the Middle East.
So-called
common colonial
Palestine.
rhetoric.
You don't know what Palestine is. Actually, in fact, the keffiyeh that you are wearing, this is just a statement to show that you really lack the authenticity to represent the case. And what's so-called the cause? You know, this is a human problem.
So you just
the cause must die. I think enough is enough.
Oh, man. He does not play, man.
The cause
tell us what you tell us what you really think, Mosab. But that, I mean, he's correct, right? It's at the as far as the two main obstacles that are in the way of anything remotely resembling peace. One, you got to get rid of Hamas, but two, the cause has to die. The cause being, hey, we have to wipe out Israel and take over. That you have to do away with that. Man, he's awesome.
I must say, this is a very unfair setting. It's like it's a big setup.
Those poor girls.
I don't know. Did they say, "Hey, we are up for this task. We want to come there and discuss"? I don't know how this happened, but this is.
Yeah,
this
did
is
they just
very,
go
very
pick
much,
two random girls? I don't know.
This is there's a great imbalance in the force here. Yeah.
And what's so-called the cause? You know, this is a human problem.
So you just
the cause must die. I think enough is enough. Now it's proven, and you are helping Hamas to prove it to the world that Palestine depends on the destruction of the state of Israel. And this is not acceptable, and we are not going to agree to it. And I tell you something, for the next 10 or 20 years, the Palestinian people will pay the bill that Hamas is caused today, and most likely in blood.
To you, Hamas and Palestinians are...
Wow.
He's being completely
talk about putting some college students in their place.
Wow. Now I see why people were talking about this so much. I haven't watched any of this till now. This is my first reaction
of it.
Yeah. But I saw it trending. I saw people on Twitter talking about it, some people being angry about it. Now I understand why. He's just brutal. He just says it ruthlessly.
Hey, Hamas, your girl got smashed.
Are the same. They're one and the same.
After October 7, yes, there is no difference.
Really?
The vast majority of the Palestinian people support Hamas.
Really?
This is a fact. This is proven by statistics, and your silence now. You cannot even condemn Hamas and say that what they did on October 7 was an act of a savage group. You don't have that power.
Said I condemn.
On what authority do you speak? You only
I condemn the question.
No.
She said, I condemn the question. Oh my goodness, gosh. Your girl got smashed, Hamas. Your girl got smashed.
Yes, lady. By condemning that question, you are precisely proving the point. By condemning the question, you are precisely proving Mosab's point here, that you cannot even condemn Hamas for what they did. how does she think this is a good objection? What did she really think would happen here in this conversation? I must say this is very, very unfair and very unbalanced. She's being basically destroyed here and being used and abused in such a terrible way. And she's defenseless. She has nothing to say. Why did she even think it was a good idea to put herself out there and to do this? The guy is just going hard, and she has nothing to say.
I think it's one of those situations where as long as she's surrounded by her fellow protesters and they're all saying,
oh, yeah, well, what we mean when we say free Palestine is we support all oppressed peoples and we're all blah, blah, blah.
And just because that's constantly affirmed in the group that she runs with, she thinks this would actually stand up to a Mosab. And it doesn't. And I think this is you could obviously find some people who would be better debaters, but I would guess that you could take any of the local champions of the cause on one of these college campuses, and this is what would happen.
Man,
this is proven by statistics, and your silence now. You cannot even condemn Hamas and say that what they did on October 7 was an act of a savage group. You don't have that power.
Said I condemn.
On what authority do you speak? You only speak on the authority of Hamas propaganda.
No, why do you say that I'm speaking on the authority of Hamas propaganda?
Because if you were a decent human being, you can say that the thousands were killed on October 7. That was a crime against humanity. It was a genocide.
Oh, gosh. He just manhandled her, man.
He killed her.
He manhandled her. Gosh. She looked dumber and more clueless than the Cash Me Outside girl did. If the Cash Me Outside girl were on here again and she were back to her young self and she wanted to make fun of something, she could make fun of that girl for looking like a complete idiot.
Hold up. Our stream has been blocked.
By who?
By YouTube.
Whoa. Why? For playing the clip?
I don't know.
Is it for a violation or for using? Because I've had it stopped before where it was just for using copyrighted stuff.
This is so stupid.
It is.
Yeah, people can't even hear us anymore.
Yeah, see if it comes back up. Sometimes they'll start it up afterwards.
Yeah. It says your stream has been temporarily blocked because we detected the video belonging to someone else. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner has added your channel to their allow list. Well.
When I ask you if...
That's very stupid.
Yeah, you can go back on now. You can go back on. Should let you continue now, right?
Nope.
No, I'm saying this happened. This only happened to me once before when I was using Zucker Night clips. And yeah, because that was copyrighted content and I played clips that were too long. That's why I usually interrupt them tons and tons of times. It was because after that they took it down. But then it would come back on. It would come back on after a minute or two. All right.
That's funny. Well, let's just end the stream if it doesn't work.
No, we're back.
We're back.
Funny. We're back. We're back.
Well, let's just end the stream if it doesn't work.
We're back.
Hey, we're back. We're back. Oh, that's
we're back.
Funny.
We're back. We're back.
Well, let's just end the stream. What if it doesn't work? Okay.
Why do I hear myself?
That is funny. That took a while.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube tried to take us down, but we put those nerds in their places.
Yeah, YouTube tried to take us down, but I said
they tried to take us down, but they can't.
They can try, but they will never succeed.
See, we're still very strong.
Actually, they pretty much did succeed. So, anyway, we were just done with the video. So, yeah, I did have
There
in
you have
mind
it, folks.
to pause it more frequently. However, I guess let it play for a little bit too long, and despite that being fair use,
No, YouTube took it down because you literally just broadcast a murder of a girl's career. You can't play that. You can't play the murder of someone's career.
Yeah, so people are asking why was the stream suspended. So because of the video that we are showing, that we are watching, the Dr. Phil video, especially since Dr. Phil happens to be part of, greater companies, broadcasting that during a live stream, and playing content from such a video during a live stream lengthily can be perceived by YouTube as an attempt to use somebody else's content, which they then block. Although this is fair use, they do that
the AI,
temporarily.
Yeah, their algorithms do not like fair use. Fair use has some principles and rules involved in it, but there's no like hard and fast rule. Like if you play a certain amount of content of someone else's video, that's why during our live streams, people always complain, why don't you just play the entire thing and not talk? Because that would be copyright infringement. That would not be fair use. But there's no hard and fast rule that says you can only play a 10-second or a 20-second or a 30-second. Everything we're doing right now would be fair use, but the algorithm is programmed to err on the side of being too strict. And it depends on the kind of content. Like if we were playing music, it jumps in almost instantly on music.
Music
we
is
would probably...
very bad.
Yeah, we wouldn't last 15 or 20 seconds playing music or something like that.
Or if you show something from
but
from an actual movie, then it's like
so music would rank first. Movies would rank second. Like if you play a clip of over like 10 seconds from a movie, you're gonna get some copyright stuff going on, even if it's fair use. So I do that. Like when I made a video and I put clips from the movie Elvis in there. Like that got a copyright strike, and I had to appeal to it and explain fair use. And then that got rejected, and then I appealed to that, and I gave a full legal rundown of why this meets every requirement of fair use and stuff. And then they let me have it and so on. So
anyway,
anyway,
was a funny incident where you asked me to play a clip from some movie or some video a few months ago, and I played literally like 5 seconds or something of it, and then the notification came. This video cannot be monetized because of this and this and that.
So in order
copyright strike this time. That's funny.
Yeah. So in order of how quick they're going to be to pull something down, a actual song would be first, then a clip from a movie would be second, and then a clip from a TV show would be third on that list. And so this is a clip of we are watching a clip of a TV show here.
Yep. Anyway,
Voting
we were
for Trump is
just done with the video anyway. We just reviewed it. We just finished. We just witnessed the murder. And then after the murder was done, the video was pretty much over. Mosab Hassan Yousef pretty much in the end said Hamas was committing a genocide and you are here supporting Hamas. You can't even condemn what they do. They kill children and all that. So that's where it ended. And that woman, poor lady, she's dead now. Anyway, let's read some super chats. Magic Mosab, not appropriate for children. A new camouflage niqab using the same Predator LCD tech as the Aisha 5000 to hide your secret second wife from your first. Order while supplies last. You know what's funny? When the stream suddenly stopped, I didn't even notice it at first. I was just looking at the screen here on my interface. It was at 3,500 live viewers, and then suddenly it said 3,000 viewers, then 2,900, 2,800. I'm like, what's going on? And then I noticed stream is blocked. which is why people are suddenly jumping off. I didn't even notice. We were just going to keep talking forever. D said, is it true that international aid was used for payments to martyrs' families? Sick. Yes. Did happen. Was proven. Was documented. Mumu Joe, the level of evilness people have if they are willing to raise their kids like that for more land. They are raising animals that will abuse their own, not just their enemy. This is true. And they are raising abusive generations, unfortunately. Mosab is the Prince Zuko of the Muslim world. Joshua says, hate is bad. Remember, Nick Fritos said Candace Owens was one of the good ones. She hates non-whites unless you're his allies, kind of like neo-Nazi Takir. Yeah, Nick Fritos actually described Candace Owens as one of the good ones. Did you know that?
Did she?
Yeah. Did he? He did, yeah, not she. Big Rick said, seeking Allah, finding the cow. Jesse, you see, I told you guys months ago that Farfour was being paid by the UN. Chloe said, so Musas are self-serving, destructive, hostile. Let's invite all the males into our countries, for they need safety from the countries they ruined. This is very Islamophobic. I condemn it and reject it. Joshua said, David Wood, the who ate the apple got kind of annoying on recent answers. AP needs to show him how to properly set up his soundboard. God bless you guys. You're finished already. That's true. I don't know what the
You're finished already. Look at me. Look at me. You know you're done.
I don't know what the who ate the apple is about. I have to check it out.
Oh, he plays these little when people give a super chat, he plays this thing of a Muslim scholar, maybe Sheikh Asim al-Hakim talking. Oh no, that's Mufti Menk, I think. When it's who ate the apple? Oh, you eat the apple, but then you put the seeds into the ground and you get thousands of apples. You see, this is when you give to my ministry, something like that.
That sounds like them. That sounds like him. Michelle, just a wee message to everyone in the chat. I love this wee group. We need to all Discord. The cult is begun. Haha. P.S. Jesus loves you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I need to set up the Discord. That'll be very nice. That'll be nice. AP hit me with a little Finkelstein. Mr. Borelli. Mr. Borelli. I can't do it. Mr. Borelli. I have to watch a few more Finkelstein videos to practice it. Siri, play Careless Whisper by... No. Dark Check. Anthropologist Levi Strauss wrote in 1955, Islam relies less on the evidence of a revelation than on its historical inability to establish reciprocal ties with the external world. Huh. David, what are you laughing at?
That you almost told your Siri to play something.
I don't have a Siri, but other people have a Siri, so...
Yeah, someone should leave a super chat saying, Alexa, play whatever.
5 Civil Peso says, Viva Las Vegas. Serious, that was the dumbest slogan that I've heard from the Palestinian pro-Palestine crowd. Viva, viva Palestina. What? Knows too much. The Palestinist ideology, pan-Arabic Islamic imperialism in the land of Israel. In the 1960s, they invented a nation with Soviet propaganda backing. Yep. Would always recommend looking at early reactions by the Arab population. What was it called? First Palestine Arab Congress. Palestine Arab Congress of 1919. Let's see what it says. So there is a, if you want to see some proof that the early Arabs in the region didn't really desire their own state, you can always look up the first Palestine Arab Congress, which says in its text, it says that Palestine is part of Syria. It should never be separated. Our national identity is that of Syria, and Palestine is a district of Syria. That's all it is. That's what the initial Arabs in the region of Palestine were saying. The whole idea that these Palestinians are a separate nation that should have their own state only developed over time. That's that. E-Bog says, if Hamas cared about Palestinians, they would surrender. We gave billions of dollars to Hamas leaders who live in Qatar right now. That's true. You know what's funny? People complain a lot about buildings and places being destroyed in Gaza and acting like...
You think that's funny?
Yes, that's hilarious. And the funny thing is that Israel built a lot of what they're destroying at the moment. Even the Shifa hospital, for example, was very much renovated and expanded and built upon by Israel in order to improve the living standards in Gaza.
And the theory, by the way, was, hey, if we improve the living conditions, maybe they'll actually focus on having normal lives and not destroying Israel.
That's true.
Did not work. It did not work. It worked with some people. There are people there who just want to live normal lives and stuff, but did not stop Hamas.
That's true. That's true. You can look it up. I'm serious. Shifa Hospital was expanded and renovated and reconstructed by Israel in order to provide better living standards in Gaza. The idea back then was, let's improve living standards here. This will bring peace to all of us. Didn't really go that way.
And the sick part is groups like Hamas are aware of what's going on. And they're aware, hey, wait a minute, if living conditions significantly improve, maybe it becomes way more difficult to recruit jihadis. So part of the reason for going and launching the terrorist attack is getting the place bombed down to rubble once again, so that living conditions are terrible. And then you can go ahead and successfully recruit. So
that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Of course it's true. Of course it's true.
Colin made a super shekels. Thank you to Mossad for this undercover contribution to our live stream. Vyati Vistu said AP's jihad is trying to keep David's mouth shut. How dare you? You keep your mouth shut.
What's yours?
Mark H. Mosab gave a talk at Columbia U. Watch last 10 minutes. He destroyed its heckler video on students supporting Israel. I will check it out. I'll check it out soon. There is a UN refugee agency for real refugees, and there is UNRWA, which is an anti-Israel Palestinati scam and propaganda tool. Careful how you talk about Palestinians. Palestinians. Let's see. I wanted to look at a clip, actually, which I mentioned earlier, of Mosab Hassan Yousef talking and mentioning Islam and saying that he was told not to talk about this, but he's going to do it anyway. Just keep talking. Let's talk about something irrelevant while I'm looking.
Yo. Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what we're going to... If AP is doing well tomorrow and he's not sick, think we're going to think we're going to talk about that red heifer prophecy, because I checked into it because I was getting so many requests. It actually turned out to be a more interesting issue than I was aware of, because you have all these people who are preparing the red heifers, but that's connected to temple worship. And so it looks like they're preparing to actually grab the temple mount and rebuild the temple. So anyway, that might be some interesting stuff to talk about tomorrow.
This is the second thing where the neo-Nazis are basically steering the discussion and muddying public opinion, public dialogue. First, there was the whole Christ is King discussion. Now the red heifer discussion. There was a post yesterday which had like 40,000 likes, which was accusing the Jews of sending messages of being the Antichrist and stuff like that. It's so messed up. Anyway, here.
Is representing something. Is representing an ideology, a culture, a state of consciousness that calibrates in darkness, that calibrates in the 7th and 6th centuries. Ruled by tribal lust for power. It have not changed, or it has not changed. Muhammad, and I know that I've been told by people here not to say this, so it does not look like the Jews are going against the Muslims. But we cannot fool ourselves. There is an Islamic problem.
Preach.
Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, ISIS, Boko Haram, all of them are killing by the name of Allah. They're not killing by the name of Jesus. They're not killing by the name of Jehovah. They're not killing by the name of Mahavira or the Buddha or Lao Tzu. They're killing by the name of Allah. There is an Islamic problem, and I think humanity needs to stand against this danger, because this danger is not only against the state of Israel.
Whoa,
this danger.
that's cheering.
Thank you. Thank you. This danger is against the evolvement of mankind.
Oh, man.
Political correctness.
He has always been very direct. And that's why I love this guy. And secondly, because of his hair. Yeah. Mohsen said, speaking of hair, I'm a gay Iranian man and I stand with Israelis fully. Ignore Queers for Palestine or whatever BS that the activists comes up with every day. Thank you to AP and David Wood for all you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Much respect. And please don't disrespect Queers for Palestine. They're obviously doing the best they can to show their solidarity with those who want to murder them.
How cool would that be, Doctor? So Dr. Phil's on, and I'm here with Mosab Hassan Yousef, and here to respond to him, we have representatives from Queers for Palestine. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Do you know what they will do to you?
They will throw you off the rooftop, you idiots. It's phonological conditioning. Child has a back vowel. Children has a front vowel. There you go. In your face, David. In your face. Burn. Jesse, compared to the Hitler Youth, how do these children stand in intensity of fanaticism and hate? I would say they are worse than the Hitler Youth, to be very honest. From what I have... I don't know. Maybe somebody can prove me wrong there. Maybe somebody can say, "Oh, no, actually, no, that's not true." Maybe somebody can say that. But from what I understand, the Hitler Youth was not this openly intense and genocidal. They didn't learn this kind of stuff. Spoken word poetry.
I mean, the idea back then was make them completely loyal to the party and to the state and so on. And now you've got people who are basically trained to obey their orders later on and to even go against their own families if they need to and so on. There was an interesting passage in the White Rose, because the White Rose was about it was a couple medical students, a couple philosophy students who launched a resistance campaign against the Nazis by publishing these leaflets telling people to resist and so on. They were eventually all executed. Hans Scholl and Sophie Scholl and Christoph Probst and Hans Gruber. Something Gruber. Anyway, several of them, but some of them were actually in the Hitler Youth when they were young, and one of them, Hans, got in trouble with him because he slapped the crap out of a dude who was threatening one of his kids. So he was a leader. It was like the Boy Scouts, guys. It was like the group, the Hitler Youth. They were like Boy Scouts. They'd send them on camping trips and stuff like that, but they're indoctrinating them the entire time. And Hans's group, they made their flag to represent their group, And then the Nazi party came in and they're like, there can be only one flag, our flag. But they had made an agreement. Their group had made an agreement that they would be willing to die for their flag, and they would never renounce their flag. And so the leader of the Nazis comes over and he's like, hand over that flag, little kid. You can't do that. And the kid didn't know what to do because he'd taken like an oath that they were going to protect their flag. And the kid's holding the flag and he doesn't know what to do because the Nazi guy saying, give us that flag. And the kid his hands start shaking. Anyway, Hans is the leader of the little Hitler Youth group, and he steps forward and just slaps the crap out of the dude for scaring this little kid. And anyway, he got in trouble for it, but he was later executed. So what?
Yep. What a conclusion. What an ending to the story. Spoken Word Poetry said, David Wood, did you see Mike Winger expose Benny Boy Hinn? He called him scumbag. Does that warrant an upgrade from him being the ultimate nerd?
No, you can be a nerd and call someone a scumbag. There's nothing he could do to not be the ultimate like nerd king.
You can't be a nerd and call
but
somebody a scumbag.
let's face it. Him going after Benny Hinn, it's basically jealousy because Benny Hinn's super cool and Mike Winger's the ultimate nerd.
Who's Benny Hinn?
He's this like, I'm gonna wave my hand in front of you, you're all gonna fall over type guy.
Oh, okay.
So Mike Winger made a video and everyone was, oh, look at his video. But it's like a 4-hour live stream. Who the heck is gonna watch a 4-hour live stream? Bunch of nerds, man.
Bunch of nerds.
It's like he's all sitting here and look at my books in the background, and oh, look at this blue light I've got in the background. Let me sit here in a 4-hour live stream. Dude, you want someone to watch, don't make a 4-hour live stream. My goodness.
Solitary Emmy said Benny Hinn is a scammer. I don't want to offend scammers here, so please don't call scammers in my comment section. Leah Nicole said he put on his big boy pants that morning. Ivy said, I go to a Kuni school. It's kind of funny. Whenever I see Kuni, I think in my head I kind of replaced the Y with a T because the letters are next to each other.
What the heck is wrong with you? And
on
it's
the keyboard.
CUNY, you pervert. CUNY.
I know,
CUNY.
but it's like they're right next to each other on the keyboard. That's why that's where my mind
City
goes.
University of New York.
Could be New Texas. I don't know. Oh, wait. My school has so many pro-Palestine protests. This belief is widespread here. Thank you, AP and David Wood, for bringing the truth. Thank you so much. Soon we will come and bomb that. I don't want to make a dumb joke that could be taken as a serious bomb threat.
That's what I mean. That's the risk. You've got all these morons on college campuses. They go on to work for Google and YouTube and all these other platforms and so on, and they don't understand when you're just making fun of something.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All the best. All the best and respect. Miss B said David Wood and IP should do a live and answer answer apologetics questions.
You said political.
Yeah. I was, because I'm not familiar with the boring kind of stuff. I think about more exciting stuff, especially, but politics
Like
is more
politics.
boring.
It's an election year. What else would we be talking about?
Yes. Would send shekels your way to pick your brain. God bless. Christ is King and loves you, AP. Thank you, Miss B. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Very, very much. And even Sneeko agrees Christ is King. So who am I to have any other word on that? Vi Brazilian said the stream will fall again if you finish that joke.
Yeah, that is correct.
Light blocks. AP is going to get the stream banned again. EMS, know the hadith about a she-monkey being stoned by a gang of boy monkeys for having haram sex. The man seeing this joins in Bukhari 558-188. Yes, it is one of the weirdest hadiths found in the
Yeah, but it's also weird because it's one. It's not like Muhammad said it, right?
Yeah.
It's a companion who said it.
There is a word for that kind of hadith. I forgot what it's called. If a hadith is about somebody else and not Muhammad saying it. However, yeah, it says during the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, I saw a she-monkey surrounded by a number of monkeys. They were all stoning it because it had committed illegal sexual intercourse. I too stoned it along with them. Just reading this stupid narration, I would say anything that this guy said, just because of this, if this is authentically attributed to him, anything that this guy said should from there on not be taken seriously. But then again, I'm not an Islamic scholar, so what can I do? You know.
Hey, you know what's funny?
What?
So I pulled up that passage, and then a bunch of other hadiths popped up about monkeys and pigs and so on. So some of these are about Jews and so on. But Sunan ibn Majah here, it was narrated from Abu Malik Ashari that the Messenger of Allah said, "People among my nation will drink wine, calling it by another name, and musical instruments will be played for them, and singing girls will sing for them. Allah will cause the earth to swallow them up, and will turn them into monkeys and pigs." So people among his nation are gonna drink wine. They're gonna call it something else, like let's say champagne or something like that. Yes. And musical instruments will be played for them. Notice how big an issue this is. Musical instruments will be played.
Will they play?
Oh, no. And singing girls will sing for them. And what's Allah going to do? He's going to do the same thing he did with the Jews in the past. He's going to turn Muslims into monkeys and pigs. What's amazing is Muslims should be citing this left and right. Look what's going on in Saudi Arabia. You've got musical instruments being played, singing girls like Iggy Azalea, not just singing, twerking, and legalizing alcohol in Saudi Arabia. What's going to happen? Wait for it. Any day now, people are going to start turning into monkeys and pigs, ladies and gentlemen.
It is going to happen. It is going to happen. I say it right here. It is going to happen very, very soon. Sooner than you can think. It would be very funny if those Muslim countries, if the oil countries went so fast that they started collectively legalizing marijuana and things like that, and while Western countries are still kind of debating it, because they're like, no, we have to be faster. We have to become even more progressive than they are. SGT485 said, "Guys, do you think Dearborn will have rape, grooming gangs and government cover-ups like in England?" I don't know much about this. David, what do you think?
It wouldn't surprise me, but when we were in the police station, so when we got arrested, I didn't hear it. He didn't say it to me, but the guy said it to both Nabil and Paul. We're all arrested, but we were separate. They both said that when they were talking to the guy who was taking our mugshots, they were talking about how messed up it is that they're getting locked up for having a discussion with Muslims on a public street. How are we actually getting arrested for having a conversation? This is the United States of America. And so they were complaining about this again separately. They both came back and they got told the same thing. But the guy who's taking the mugshots, when he's listening to them, he said, "You don't have to tell me. I've been to houses where a girl's been beheaded by her parents, and no one ever finds out about it, and the media never reports it." Beast. And so, I mean, he's talking about like honor killings going on. It all gets hushed up. So I don't know what else would get hushed up there.
Beast. Okay, so I just looked up the guy here. There's this website, which it's a very interesting website for some nerds who, if anyone else is nerdy, very interesting website that is called muslimscholars.info, where I sometimes go and study things further to look up who this person who narrates a certain hadith is and what scholars think about him and what else he narrated and so on. And the guy who narrated this story, which the story about the monkeys stoning a female monkey because she committed adultery, and he then joined in and also stoned people. He's seen as a guy about whom the Islamic scholars don't have any doubts. So he is considered a reliable narrator of hadiths, which just tells me a lot about these Islamic scholars. And imagine you trust some guy who actually says, you know what, before the Islamic time, there were a bunch of monkeys stoning a female monkey because she committed adultery, and I joined in. Imagine Islamic scholars actually sit there and think, oh, you know, that guy, he's reliable.
Hard to come up with a reason to doubt that guy.
Anyway. So stupid. Knows too much says, facts. Islam and Arabic are foreign to the land of Israel. Historically, Muslims brutally oppressed Jews. Pan-Arabic Islamic imperialism is imperialism. It is imperialism. Imperialism is imperialism. That's true. Gio says, you guys should start a game show called Is It Quranic or Moronic?
That would be funny. That would be funny. You just give a quotation, and then people have to decide whether it's Quranic or moronic.
That's funny.
But that assumes that it can't be both, right? Because I would say that there are lots of things in the Quran that are moronic and Quranic.
That's the problem. I would say lots of things.
So I guess you could call it Quranic or just moronic, right? Like if it's not in the Quran and it's moronic.
If something is Quranic, it is moronic. By definition. Papi Cthulhu says, now that the half-covered lollipops had her dumb takes, they can start their OF career, but might be too old for the Dawa guys to subscribe. That is true. That is true. There's always that downside to it. If you're past the age of 9, they might not subscribe. Propal guy said Israel has killed 1 trillion handicapped trans-Arab children. Trust me, bro. Really?
Children.
I have to check the numbers. Ayatollah Khamenei, it looks like she just got pregnant. Yes. Ari Wasserman, if I had to choose between you two cows, I would choose the cow. Oof-tastic says, I love the LARP of this woman. Wear fake blanket hijab that doesn't even cover up her hair, whilst also wearing layers of makeup. How modest of her. Yeah, and then all the faces that she was making. Like she was going like... Georgia Dangstorp says, oh, well, it was good while it lasted. Well, that's indeed good. It's always good to appreciate the things. Ari Wasserman said, Hamas Dearborn chick, you are shortchanging the concept of the question without providing the Islamophobic context of the way you framed our suffering. Son of Hamas, cash me outside, you cow.
I mean, seriously, guys, I'm not even joking. How legendary! Anyone on that little group who was part of that discussion could have said "Cash me outside," and it would have been like epic, legendary. If one of those chicks had said it, that would have been awesome. If Mosab had said it like that, "Cash me outside, you cow," that would have. Oh my goodness, talk about viral.
That's
AP. You need to get on with Dr. Phil just to come up with an opportunity to say that.
I will be on Dr. Phil next week. Crusader Jen, it was funny though, because the woman is sitting there and she's like, I condemn the premise of that question. And honestly, that is such a typical colonial thing to say. And Mosab is like, you are supporting Hamas. The cause must die.
What you're saying is literally genocide and oppression against my ears. You're supporting terror. You cow.
Crusader General, Hamas admins on YouTube didn't appreciate this conversation. Unfortunately, yeah. I will have to get in touch with them and try to make peace again and express to them very much that I personally have nothing against Hamas and that they should please not take any action against my stream. LH, AP, or David, have Christian Prince on and help him to get a debate with Mimi Hijab or Muslim Lantern or one of the Dawa boys.
I don't know why anyone would think that we're in charge of setting up debates with these guys. These guys generally are not fans of us.
We have the keys to the Dawa debates.
We have the keys to the Dawa community.
And I will eat the keys. I will swallow them. You will never fight them. Unicorn1620 said, AP, are you familiar with the traveling Kalat? He lives in Israel. Would love to see a collab stream with you, David Wood, and him. Let me see. The traveling what? Traveling Kalat. Let's see if he's based enough to be part of this live stream. Oh yeah, I think he actually contacted me, but I never got back.
We're gonna be
because, as always, whenever somebody contacts me, I don't get back. I will have to check that out. Yeah. KD says, AP, been loving your work recently given events. Would love to see you either speak with Destiny or Mosab. Slightly biased for a Destiny chat. That's a that's a very interesting combination there. Destiny or Mosab. I mean, I'm in touch with Destiny. I have been on his streams occasionally, every now and then. I have access to his Discord room, so I can just jump in and start talking trash. He's nice like that, and he always tells me that he loves me when I'm there, which makes me feel very warm around my heart. I've never heard the same thing from Mosab, so I am kind of biased toward Destiny as well, but I will see what happens. Robert Michael says, and by the way, thank you, KD, appreciate it. Robert Michael says, would you eat a shawarma? Would you eat at a shawarma restaurant if the tagline was, if this is haram, I don't want to be alright? Would you, David?
Totally, man. And I agree with Marty Funkhauser. If it's Itzhak Rabin can eat it. Wait, what did he say?
Hey, that was pretty good.
If Itzhak Rabin can break bread with Yasser Arafat, then I can eat chicken at this anti-Semitic crap hole.
That's a
so yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah, all that matters is whether the shawarma is banging.
That's a very good impression. It felt like I'm hearing Funkhauser right there.
You know what's crazy? Norm Macdonald, who is not known for doing impressions, the dude can't do impressions. He did the best Super Dave impression I've ever seen. It was amazing. Sounded exactly like him. But he was just telling it from like personal interactions. He was like, yeah, so I was going on the whatever it was, the David Letterman show, and so he went ahead and Bob Einstein said to me, you know what you do? Just go in there wearing a pompadour and don't say anything. Just sit there. Just sit there the entire time wearing a pompadour. So, like the dumbest thing ever, but anyway.
No warming of hearts, says Rebecca. I know. I kind of like warm hearts. I don't like to eat them cold. Laura Carmichael said, "What does OF stand for?" It stands for operational failure. Aviel Yagudayev says, we want Mosab or CP live with you. If it's not the same person, who knows? But you just have to bring Mosab. What do you mean if it's not the same person? Like if it's somebody who is impersonating Mosab? I don't understand. But I would try to I have been trying to get Mosab to come and be a guest here. Still trying. And I have been reliably informed that it's very hard to do by people who have much higher connections than I do. I don't know why.
And I keep telling you, you need to crank out some of your old school type videos. Get your channel up to a million subscribers, and then any of these guys are going to be like, "Oh, he has 1 million subscribers. I'll get on there with him."
Yeah, that could be good. That sounds like a good idea.
Why are you bringing up Mike Winger again? Same tweet.
Spoken Word Poetry said, "Did you see Mike Winger? Have yourself on the show." I have myself on the show all the time. Oliver Zaytuni said, "Only Farfour fans." Oh yeah, that's what stands for. Sorry. Yes. Spoken Word LE says, "I second Unicorn's comment about the traveling clad. Please check him out. Great live stream as always. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will check him out. I will see what he does."
See, that's a guy. He's an actual YouTuber in Israel. We should have met up with YouTubers when we were in Israel. We're sitting there like hanging out with a guy this guy does TikTok. He's got millions of guys, but no one does what we do.
He's an Arab Jew. What? I'm an Arab Jew. Huh. What? Okay, I will check it out. I'll see. Ari Wasserman said, "How dare you imply I got UN funding for my double Zabuba augmentation?" Christian says, "Hijab accent, the Green Prince, he speaks the truth. I love how blunt and honest he speaks. If you could get him on your show, we could enlist him into your cult as the truth sayer. David Wood, GOAT." That is true. I could add Mosab Hassan Yousef to this cult. He would be of value. Oh, this is funny. I see my emails now that says, "Your stream was interrupted due to a copyright match." Okay, I don't care. Sholo Hatik says, "David looks so mad. What's wrong, buddy? AP saved me from Islam. Love you guys." Thank you so much, Sholo. Don't mind David. He's just mad. It's because it wasn't him. It was me. That's why.
There's just too much stuff going on in the world, man. How can you not be mad at a time like this?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Aviel Yogadiv says, "Please try to get Mosab and tell him Israel created Hamas." Wait. Aviel said, "Please try to get Mosab and tell him Israel created Hamas. I'm dying to see him go crazy about it."
That would be funny. Hey, Mosab, how would you respond to people who say that Hamas, which is created by your dad, was actually created by Israel?
No, actually,
let me tell you something.
What I should actually be doing is to sit down with him and act like this is my opinion. I should sit there and say, "Well, Mosab, so first of all, I have to say it's quite clear that Israel created Hamas." And see what he then says.
That would be like Joe Rogan was on had what's his name, man? Alex Jones. Alex Jones was on Joe Rogan, and Alex Jones was going, and let me tell you something. Now they're trying to make laws where you can actually have an abortion after the baby's born. Now what's going on with that? And the other guy, whoever else was with Joe Rogan knew it was true, but he kept playing and going, "Come on, man, no one's going to say something like that. That's ridiculous." "What? I'll tell you." And he starts Alex Jones starts flipping out, and the guy's going, "Come on, no one's going to say something crazy like that, man. Have you seen the videos?" He starts like actually flipping out. But I can imagine Mosab if you could get Mosab to flip out like Alex Jones for bringing up something like that. I don't know, man. That would just be one of the greatest clips of all time.
That would be very, very, very much amazing.
You have a collab.
Would you look it up?
No, I just this is my favorite Alex Jones stuff.
Here's why I felt so sick. I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this.
My superpower is being honest.
I got food and stuff, but I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up, and gut them, and skin them, and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimal self-sufficiency. Probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. We're going to dig you out of those bunkers. We're going to dig you out of those holes. You make us eat them.
The thing is, people made a lot of memes about this because it just sounds so bad when he says it.
Let me tell you something right now. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get my hands around your throat. Well, you're begging for peace right now. You should have thought about that when you turned down Christ a long time ago.
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh man. I told you before, all I'd ever seen from him were like the compilation clips where everything is about like the gay frogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd never actually watched a clip from him until Joe Rogan said something about him, and he was just like, he's not in a good place, man. Mentally, he's not in a good place. And if I saw him, I'd probably just give him a hug. And then Alex Jones responded, but that was like the first like clip of Alex Jones that wasn't part of a compilation of like stuff he said. And he's going, "You want to give me a hug? Hug! I'm built for war. I'm built for war. I want," and he just starts going off on all the stuff he'll do to Joe Rogan and stuff. And I was just like, oh, this is hilarious. This is why people like him.
What's funny is
my superpower's telling the truth. Funny. We need to watch him just to like pick up some skills, because he is hilarious in just sitting there in front of a mic talking.
Well, personally, I think he has a problem.
You think?
What's also funny is the context of this clip here is this was during COVID lockdowns, and he was kind of making it look like this is a big plot to I don't know, imprison and enslave humanity and to make them depend.
Now I'm locked up. Now I'm locked up thinking I gotta go kill my neighbors just to get their toilet paper. Why? Because I'll kill you to get your toilet paper. I'll do it.
It was just so easy back then at that time to buy into these narratives. And it sounds funny in retrospect looking at this, but he was being very, very serious and very, ringing the false alarm during that time. And I don't know.
Satanist, meet with me. How about you get on your knees to Christ? You'd meet with my boss right now. I will eat you. So all you spirit cookers act all tough all day. How you're doing your little satanic rituals, drinking blood and stuff. I'll drink your blood. You understand that? I will hang your ass up and cut you into cutlets like a filet mignon and grill your ass before I.
What is this guy? This guy is insane. And then there's a
matter of fact. Can we cut over to my meat locker? I want to open it up, show you what I got hanging in there. Now you see this guy right here hanging upside down?
Then this guy Jonathan Mann made a song out of this, which is very nice.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass.
People are funny, man.
It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Destiny recently had a debate with him, which was a very interesting thing. And Destiny happens to be quite honest about people he meets and all that. And I heard him say something I heard him say something recently, which was that he said, "I really don't like it when people seem to be publicly incredibly passionate about certain political things, but then as soon as the camera is off in private, they are like, oh yeah, that was good. It was a good show, right? yeah, let's have a drink later and stuff like that. And he said that's basically what Alex Jones was during the whole public debate. He was all passionate about it, but then as soon as the show ended, he was like, he started joking about things we said to each other and was being totally not passionate about it at all. And it's just like showbiz stuff.
So
which
during the
he
show,
says is very dumb.
So during the show, he's like, "Listen here, you blue-eyed freak! I will eat you. I will chop you up into little bitty bits and make stir-fried rice out of you. That's what I'll do." All right, cut. Hey, Destiny, great show, man. Just wanted to let you know. Anytime you want to come back, man, talk about anything. Yeah.
Yes. Mike said there is clear evidence of war crimes. Israel has killed over 50 journalists, shot innocent civilians, and engaged in sick behavior towards women. We are mad at war crimes, not war itself. No excuse. I would say, first off, speak for yourself when you say we are mad at war crimes, not war itself. Pretty sure that's not true. The majority of the narrative is dominated by those who are against Israel's war altogether, if not Israel's existence or the borders that we have at the moment. Secondly, yes, in war times, innocent people die. In war times, journalists die, especially if they're in a war zone. And sick behavior towards women, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any proof of it. There are allegations. There were allegations of certain complaints. Nothing has been documented so far as I have seen. I will keep up with it. If there are people who commit crimes during a war, of course they will be held responsible. They will be held responsible accordingly. However, big generalization, big accusations here. And yes, in wartime, especially in such a war, where in such a densely populated region where Hamas deliberately hides among and under the civilian population, civilian casualties are inevitable. They are part of this. You know what else is inevitable? Friendly fire. During war, in general, up to 20% of casualties result from friendly fire. And that is no different in this war. Do you think people want to kill their own? Do you think people want to hurt or injure their own? No, it happens. This is what happens. This is war. That's why war is bad. Nobody wants the war. It is unfortunately Hamas that forced this war, which is why they are responsible. And the war will not end until Hamas is completely destroyed. It should not end. Because as long as Hamas exists, this will go on. Knows too much says FY. David, did you want to say anything about this? No? Okay. Knows too much said FYI, Al-Futuwa, set up by Al-Husseini, founding father of the Palestinians and SS general, was literally modeled on the Hitler Youth. Which is why it's very funny when people say nowadays, oh, the Zionists are Nazis. You were the ones who worked with Nazis. Muhammad can be referred to as Dihia's jizya collector. Knows too much that Mosab needs to be a milk commercial. Joshua Wooden made a super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Chloe is here again. Chloe, what's up? We're living in a simulation. God entered the sim as Jesus. Miracles and coincidences are glitches in the matrix. Also, many stupid people are NPCs, projections. Yes, very much true. Except not really. Yes. Ryan Kim says, have you seen the Alex Jones Gay Frogs remix on YouTube? I have. Too many times. Neil7777 God Logic says the Jews consider Talmud as scripture. Is this true?
You could say there are Jews who treat it as it's not scripture in the same in the way we normally talking about scripture, right? It's not commands of God. They're treating it as like a source in their religion, but it's just not the same thing as like a collection of commands from God. It's a collection of ongoing debates And what you're learning is how these issues have been debated in the past and how you are supposed to debate the meaning of passages and scriptures and so on. So it's a completely different kind of text. If you wanted a parallel, we've talked about this in the past. Imagine you took all the debates in Christian history over the meaning of text and so on. And you took a bunch of the most important figures and what they said about various issues and how they responded to each other, and you put it into one giant collection. And the goal is to see this ongoing, unfolding process of Christians debating various texts and so on. That would be something similar. And you could come up with something like that, and Christians could take that seriously as an important source and so on. But it wouldn't be the same kind of source as like the Old Testament or the New Testament or something like that.
Yeah. So when it is called scripture, it is not considered scripture in the same sense that that you would consider the Bible a scripture. The Talmud is a collection that contains debates, discussions, explanations, and law. Some of it is considered law and is followed by rabbinic tradition. Much of it is discussions, debates. Part of it is the oral Torah. The other is the explanation of it. It is not considered scripture in the same sense. That's not what it is. Jews don't follow the Torah, the Talmud, as in following the Bible or following the Quran. They study it. They study it to understand it and to interpret the Torah orally. It's quite different, not quite the same thing. The actual scripture to be followed is the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament. Chris Creative, have you ever shown a map of what Israel's true borders are supposed to will be biblically? I haven't. Immortal 17 said, pee pee poo poo poo, and David Morningwood's legs are shaking under the camera after finding truth. May Allah, peace be upon him, guide you. Allah, peace be upon him, guide you, Jew-funded Zionists. Allah, peace be upon him. Peace be upon him indeed. May he rest in peace. Lonnie Crow said, I knew Mosab is going to destroy her. The moment I saw the blue eyes, it was game over. Crusader General, if you don't get Lloyd the Young on your show soon, you're going to have to cash me a sign. How about that? I will try to get in touch and see. I will see. Otherwise, I will cash you a third. The crispy goldfish, Allah has two right hands, just like the glorious Allah. This means Allah is a true Muslim. It's the proof. This is true. It is actually true. No idea what this means, but yes, it is true. Sheikh Yadik says,
Gosh, I don't know why. I don't know why I come over on these atheist channels.
Sheikh Yadik says, the West won't let me. It's a name. What are you laughing at? The West won't let me land a perfectly halal uppercut in my own house. Islamophobia. This is true. This is true. Chloe L, we are living in a simulation. I already read this, man. What's wrong with you?
I don't know what's wrong with you.
In depth said Hamas officially denied sex crimes by IDF. They're worried that the lies about grape at Deir Yassin, hoaxes like that will get Gazans to run away. I haven't seen that. I remember that there was recently an incident. It went viral. They said a woman says that that she has witnessed rapes by the IDF at Al-Shifa hospital. It was widely reported. Then Al Jazeera went into it. And later, they came out and said, it turns out that it actually didn't happen. It was a false claim. And the woman justified that false claim by saying that she just wanted to rile up the spirit of the Palestinians against the enemy. She openly said that. That was the explanation. I saw that part. I didn't see yet what Hamas said about the claims on the IDF in general. Lonnie Crow said the IDF killed 7 aid workers. However, the IDF killed 20% of its own soldiers as well. Friendly fire plus accidents. Google it. It's a war. I know. It's this is the thing. There was some statistics that came out several months ago, which showed that that up to 20% of the IDF casualties were due to friendly fire. And then lots of these anti-Zionists were like, oh, look at this, you see, they have no regard for their own people. Look at this, haha, who shoots their own people, who does this, ha 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 ha. And it's literally everywhere. If you look into the history of friendly fire, you will see that this is actually the norm. This is the average. This is how it goes during war, because that's what war is. War is difficult and bad and chaotic.
Yeah, people seriously don't understand. It would be one thing if it was one army on one side of a big field marching out against another army on the other side of the field. When you're in a town and people are jumping out at you, and Hamas will gladly dress as civilians, and you see a civilian come out a door, even if he's waving a white flag and you're thinking, oopsie, this sounds like exactly something Hamas would do, be pretending to wave a white flag while getting ready to blow me up with a grenade or something like that. And so it's always you can freak someone out and they can just open fire. And that could be your own person could jump out from behind something and you shoot them, or you could be shooting through a wall because some guys went over there and you end up hitting your own guy and so on. That sort of stuff. It's urban warfare, going through houses and buildings and stuff like that, where there's a mixture of your own people and hostages and terrorists and civilians and so on. That's why you kind of have to point the finger at Hamas, because the fighting that's going on in those areas is because of them. It's happening there because of them. Israel would gladly fight in an open field with these guys.
Yeah.
Nope, they run and hide in towns and buildings and so on, so that when Israel comes to get them, they're also going to get civilians, and they're also going to kill some of their own people and so on to help with their media campaign.
Yep. But this is true. In certain wars, the rate was even higher. There was like 25% of casualties, friendly fire, but it's generally close to 20%. I think on average in war times is due to friendly fire. This is normal and bad and sad. But it says a lot about the nature of war and about how you can't just say, oh, look, a civilian died on the other side, therefore they are deliberately killing civilians. No, that's not how it goes. However, in the case of Hamas attacking Israel on October 7, we can say for sure that they did target and that they did mean to kill civilians, because we have it all on camera, because Hamas proudly recorded it. Because they went into a concert, into a festival, and started shooting at people. Because they went into residential places and started shooting at people in their own homes. And that's the difference. One side has collateral damage, which happens during every war. The other side deliberately targets civilians. Those who deliberately target civilians are Hamas. They are the villains. And they should be eradicated to the last of them. Chloe said, see, you pulled up my super again. That's a glitch. Super soaker filled with pig blood versus a jihadi. Hamas, Kalinik cow, Kashmir third cow for Mosab. I would rather choose. No. I will not read it. Thank you. David, anything else?
You're finished already. Look at me. You know you're done.
Anything else you want to say?
How about no?
Huh? Why are you laughing?
Nope. Can't talk on this channel anymore.
Has real problems.
You're hiding, boy.
Lose faith. I tell you, lose faith. It's better for you. You're sitting there watching Netflix. I'm a medical doctor.
Urinating upon one another.
What kind of
That's what they
Muslim
do.
are you?
Homosexuality should be fine.
Imbeciles.
That's the reality of the situation.
Brother, I have doubts.
I don't buy your Ella.
Why stuttering?
Get the hell out of here. Quiet, man.
It is a metaphysical matter.
You're finished already. Look at me. Look at me. You know you're done.
We're proud of that.
What the hell? I mean,
Liar. You're a liar. What? I'm a medical doctor.
Okay, that was all of them. Thank you. Thank you for witnessing this beautiful soundboard. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm glad that we watched this show and witnessed a massacre. And I'm glad that you all witnessed a massacre too. And I'm glad that David also witnessed the massacre. Thank you, David, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
That was a
Thank you all
massacre.
for watching. Thanks for the massacre. And yes, thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic day. And you know what they say? David, do you know what they say?
Who? What the Dawa guys say? The Dawa guys, they always say, like, stay away from Islam.
Yeah, that's what Sajid Lupim says. Look at this.
stay away from Islam.
That's what they do.